Chapter 26-23. The moon was high in the sky. The bright moonlight shone down like water. It was as dazzling as the silver light, covering the entire Three Saint Mountain with a layer of silver mist. It looked ethereal. On the platform in front of the Three Saint Cave, a huge bonfire burned brightly. Groups of lesser demons were all jubilant, drinking happily with jars of wine in their arms. They were lucky enough to get a portion of the Black Snake King's meat. They ate until their bodies glowed, and their cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. After all, the Black Snake King was a Saint King. His body contained a vast amount of energy. It was even more powerful than some saint pills. Ling Xiao and the rest sat in front of a stone table. The stone table was filled with various delicacies and rare fruits. It emitted a fragrant aroma. The bejeweled nectar wine brewed by the Black Bear Spirit was made with million-year-old honey, various precious spiritual fruits, and saint herbs. It was extremely precious. Usually, the Golden Lion King and the White Eagle King could not even take a sip of it. But now they were all taken out. Wine jars were placed beside them. A rich wine fragrance wafted from them. The bejeweled nectar wine surprised Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang. This wine was comparable to the best divine wine in the demon realm. It was like nectar, crystal clear. It was fragrant and sweet. At the same time, it was like a flame that flowed through the body. It was very comfortable. The old goat and the Black Bear Spirit were all smiles. The two of them had their arms around each other's shoulders. They were drunk and whispering to each other. "Good brother, when we reach the demon realm, I'll bring you to dig up our ancestors' graves." Ling Xiao heard this by chance. He could not help but twitch his mouth. Black lines appeared on his forehead. How embarrassing. The old goat was a bastard. How dare he brag about digging up their ancestors' graves? The Heavenly Wolf King and the Black Panther King were all smiles. They each held a large wine jar and drank. From time to time, they would tear off a piece of roasted meat and throw it into their mouths. The finale was naturally the Black Snake King's meat. It had to be said that the Black Snake King's meat was delicious. It contained a vast amount of energy. It was crystal clear and looked like jade. It was very appetizing. On the stone table, the Black Snake King's meat was roasted until it was dripping with oil. It was also stewed into a snake soup. Various precious spiritual herbs were added to it. The soup was rich and white. It made one's mouth. However, Ling Xiao and the rest had huge appetites. And the Black Bear Spirit. And the Black Panther. And Black Panther King. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, the White Eagle Grand Sage, and the Black Bear Demon all benefited greatly. Their bodies glowed with light and their physical bodies grew stronger. Ling Xiao was also very relaxed. The Golden Lion King and his brothers were simple and honest, so it was very easy to get along with them. Ling Xiao felt that his mental state had improved a lot. The Golden Lion King smiled at Ling Xiao. "The Demon City? The 4 great Fey Kings you mentioned live in Myriad Fey City?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. "The 4 Grand Demon Kings are the Cedar Pine King, the Peony King, the Willow King, and the White Dragon King. They are the rulers of the Demon Island. They usually guard the Demon Island. They will only go to the Demon City when the Demon Conference begins. However, private fights are prohibited in the Demon City. It is the same for the 4 Grand Demon Kings. As long as we enter the Demon City, the White Dragon King will not dare to attack us." The Golden Lion King said. "I'm not afraid of the White Dragon King. However, with the 4 Grand Demon Kings in the Demon City, it will be difficult." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. If the 4 Great Fey Monarchs were not together, he might be able to try and see if he could subdue a Great Fey Monarch. With his combat strength and Heaven's might, it was very possible for him to subdue a Great Fey Monarch. However, with the 4 Grand Demon Kings together, it would be difficult. It is indeed difficult. However, with the other 3 Grand Demon Kings, the White Dragon King will not dare to attack us. You don't have to worry." The Golden Lion King comforted. He thought that Ling Xiao was worried about the White Dragon King's revenge. "Let's wait until we reach the Demon City." Ling Xiao smiled faintly and did not explain anything. At the center of the Demon Island, there was an incomparably majestic giant city. At this moment, in a huge palace, a majestic old man with white hair and beard suddenly opened his eyes. There was a cold murderous intent in his eyes. Roar. There seemed to be a dragon's roar around him. Vast dragons might spread out. A white divine dragon coiled around him, making him look even more majestic and mysterious. He stood up, and the surrounding void seemed to shatter instantly. How dare you kill my brother? Very well. I'd like to see who has the guts to do so. The White Dragon King exuded a monstrous murderous aura. He wanted to tear the void apart and leave this place. The servants outside the palace hurriedly knelt down, trembling. The Black Snake King is dead? The same thought appeared in their minds. They were all frightened and felt that the sky was about to collapse. The White Dragon King doted on the Black Snake King's brother. No one knew who had the guts to kill the Black Snake King. This time, no matter who it was, they would be dead. White Dragon King, come to the Demon Ancient Tree quickly. The Demon Ancient Tree is on a rampage again. At this moment, a cold voice entered the White Dragon King's ears. The Demon Ancient Tree is on a rampage again? Damn it! The White Dragon King's expression changed. His eyes were filled with uncertainty, but in the end he gritted his teeth and flew towards the 10,000 Demons Ancient Tree. In the center of the Demon City, there was an ancient tree that was tens of thousands of feet tall. It connected the heavens and the earth, piercing through the sky. It exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. The crown of the tree was like a dome that covered the sky. This was the Demon Ancient Tree. At this moment, the 10,000 Fiends Ancient Tree began to shake violently. Streaks of blazing divine light rose up, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. Rumble. For extremely powerful auras burst out in an instant, turning into 4 huge ceiling boundaries that suppressed the 10,000 Demons Ancient Tree. Above the 4 ceiling boundaries, 4 mysterious figures vaguely appeared. Their auras were connected to each other. It was vast and unparalleled. Like a raging sea, they were trying their best to suppress the Demon Ancient Tree. The terrifying aura caused all the living beings in the Demon City to tremble. Is the Demon Ancient Tree on a rampage again? Fortunately, there are 4 Grand Monster Kings. Otherwise, the Demon City would be destroyed. Someone exclaimed. Many living beings in the Demon City looked at the 10,000 Demons Ancient Tree with reverence. This was an extremely powerful connate spiritual root. The demon fruit made countless experts of the demon clan crazy. However, at the same time, it was a demonic tree that was extremely violent and had great destructive power. If not for the suppression of the 4 Grand Monster Kings, the Demon Ancient Tree would have escaped long ago. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 26-24. The myriad demon city was like a primordial beast, lying dormant on the vast plains of the myriad demon island. The city walls were thousands of feet high and were built with huge stones. They looked mottled and ancient, as if they had been baptized by the vicissitudes of time. Standing in front of the 1,000 demon city, one could feel their own insignificance, like an ant looking up at a divine dragon. This is the 1,000 demon city? It's really extraordinary. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Under the lead of the 3 brothers, Ling Xiao, Old Goat, Daoist Wuliang, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King arrived at the 1,000 demon city. The 1,000 demon city looked ancient and mysterious, and its aura was magnificent. It was like a giant beast lying dormant on the earth, especially the 1,000 demon ancient tree. It was lush and covered the sky, and it was shrouded in a mysterious light, exuding an indescribably powerful pressure. The origin of the 1,000 demon city is unknown. Legend has it that it was built by the demon emperor, and the 1,000 demon ancient tree was also taken by the demon emperor from the ancient dragon clan. Now the 4 grand demon kings are guarding the 1,000 demon city. Anyone who wants to enter the 1,000 demon city must pay 10 origin pills. The Golden Lion King explained. The group arrived at the gate of the 1,000 demon city. On both sides of the gate, there were many powerful soldiers in armor. Each of them had sharp eyes, and their expressions were incomparably cold. The Golden Lion King took out 80 origin pills, and threw them into a stone box guarded by the soldiers. 10 origin pills per person. There are at least hundreds of thousands of demon race experts in the 1,000 demon city. The 4 grand demon kings can earn millions of origin pills every day. He Xiong muttered, his eyes full of dissatisfaction and envy. When one's cultivation reached the sage realm, they could condense origin pills from the void. However, even a sage could only condense one origin pill every day. It was not enough for their own cultivation, so how could they have any left? Not to mention, the demon race on the Endless Island were all country bumpkins. They were so poor that they didn't even have weapons. They condensed origin pills much slower than the experts of the demon realm. Therefore, origin pills were also very popular here. Third brother, don't talk nonsense. This 1,000 demon city is the territory of the 4 grand demon kings. We should keep a low profile. The Golden Lion King scolded. The group entered the demon city unscathed. Although there were a few demon kings in their group, the demon meet was about to begin. There were many experts from the demon clan who had come to the demon city recently, and demon kings were common. Therefore, they did not attract much attention. The moment they entered the 1,000 demon city, it was a bustling scene. It's a big sale. Just picked heavenly spirit grass. You only need 10 origin pills to exchange for 1 heavenly spirit grass. The scales of the golden rhino demon king can be used to forge powerful weapons. You only need 100 origin pills to buy it. Mysterious heavenly fruit, 1 origin pill for 1. Heavenly star gold jades for demon king divine weapons. Ling Xiao and the others saw that the bluestone paved streets were extremely wide. There were actually many shops on both sides of the streets. Countless demon race experts were hawking their wares and greeting customers. However, most of the powerful beings of the demon race had the head of a demon and the body of a human. Their transformations were not complete. After all, in this endless sea of islands, transformations were incomparably precious. It was not something that ordinary demon race beings could obtain. Even the 3 brothers of the Golden Lion King had not fully transformed. Those people with the head of a dog, the head of a rabbit, and the body of a goat were like human merchants. Their faces were filled with smiles as they shouted with all their might. This made Ling Xiao the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang a little stunned. This 1,000 demon city was actually so prosperous that it was like a human world. These women from the rabbit tribe and the fox tribe are not bad looking. Taoist Wuliang's eyes lit up as his gaze landed on a few women from the rabbit tribe and the fox tribe in the distance. Those women were all dressed in light muslin. Their skin was as clear as jade. Their legs were long and slender, and their figures were extremely hot. However, they had the heads of rabbits and foxes. They looked very charming, and Taoist Wuliang could not take his eyes off them. Old Taoist Wuliang, have you forgotten about the eldest princess, Embroideress Sue? If she sees you like this, I'm afraid she'll dig your eyes out. The old goat glanced at Taoist Wuliang and said, Who is Embroideress Sue? I don't know her. If you want to marry me, you have to listen to me. These women of the demon race are indeed charming. Taoist Wuliang said with a proud smile. Is it because Embroideress Sue can't hold the sword anymore, or are you too arrogant? You will be hacked to death by Embroideress Sue sooner or later. The old goat looked at Taoist Wuliang and said with annoyance, Brother Tong Tian, have you taken a liking to these women? As long as you have 10 origin pills, you can have a good night with them. Don't even mention how good that feeling is. He Xiong pulled Taoist Wuliang aside and said with a beaming smile, Really? However, the cultivation of these monster race women was too low. Was there anyone with a higher cultivation and a better quality one? This Taoist wants to have an in-depth conversation with them. Taoist Wuliang said with his eyes shining. Of course there are. These are all ordinary goods. There's a spring wind pavilion in 1,000 Demon City. There are demon sages and even great sages in there. However, the price is much more expensive. It's said that it costs at least 1,000 origin pills. But it's really the fragrance of the country, and it's indescribably beautiful. Black Bear's eyes were shining as he spoke, and he began to drool. The price is not a problem. This Taoist doesn't lack origin pills. When you have the chance, bring me there and let this Taoist save them. Taoist Wuliang chuckled. What's 1,000 origin pills? This Taoist has a few billion origin pills in my hands. You bunch of country bumpkins have probably never seen so many origin pills in your lives. Ling Zhao's forehead was filled with black lines as he listened to Taoist Wuliang and Black Bear's discussion. This troublesome bastard. Everyone, our divine weapon pavilion is open for business today. Everyone who is passing by, don't miss this opportunity. Even a demon king will be able to find a divine weapon that suits him here. Suddenly, there was a commotion from the crowd in front, and an incomparably loud voice rang out. Divine Weapon Pavilion? Let's go take a look. Ling Zhao's eyes moved, and he immediately looked in the direction of the voice. At the end of the street, there was a 3-story shop. It looked extraordinary, and there were 3 large words written in flamboyant calligraphy, Divine Weapon Pavilion. An old man in a black robe, with a goatee, and a pair of small eyes that were filled with craftiness, was doing his best to greet the customers. I heard that there's an incomparably mysterious weapon refiner in the Divine Weapon Pavilion. The weapons that he refines are fought over by demon sages, and there are even divine weapons used by demon kings. Isn't that so? The background of this Divine Weapon Pavilion is not ordinary. It's said that it might be related to a demon king. I've accumulated a lot of origin pills, and I hope that I can buy a suitable divine weapon. I'm really looking forward to it. I wonder what kind of divine weapon will appear in the Divine Weapon Pavilion. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement, and they were all attracted by the Divine Weapon Pavilion, and they all walked into the Divine Weapon Pavilion. Chapter 26-25. Ling Xiao and the rest walked into the Hall of Gods. Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King? I didn't expect the 3 of you to grace our Hall of Gods with your presence. Your presence brings light to our humble Hall of Gods. The old man with a goatee and black robes saw the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King, and his eyes lit up. The old man with a goatee had reached the Great Saint Realm. Obviously, he was very familiar with the demon kings of the 72 caves. Hence, he could recognize the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King immediately. How should I address you? I've never seen you in Demon City before. What kind of weapons do you have in the Hall of Gods? Show us. The Golden Lion King said generously. I'm Huang Qi, the shopkeeper of the Hall of Gods. Please follow me to the 3rd floor. The 1st and 2nd floors are filled with rank 1 to rank 10 weapons. The 3rd floor has Demon King weapons. I can show them to you. Huang Qi said with a smile. Let's take a look around first. Golden Lion King, you can go to the 3rd floor first. We'll go up later. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he spoke to the Golden Lion King. All right. The Golden Lion King nodded and looked at Ling Xiao. Then, he led the Heavenly Wolf King and Black Panther King to the 3rd floor under Huang Qi's lead. The 1st floor of the Hall of Gods had rank 1 to rank 5 weapons, while the 2nd floor had rank 6 to rank 10 weapons. This is a divine weapon? The old goat casually picked up a simple and unadorned stone sword. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The stone sword looked very crude, but it was labeled as a rank 3 divine weapon. The old goat saw that the stone sword was not only hard and sharp, but it was not even comparable to a real divine weapon. It was obviously made by condensing, or into the shape of a sword. Black Bear Spirit, your endless island is really a bunch of country bumpkins. No one would want a divine weapon like this even if we threw it away. Taoist Wuyang whispered to the Black Bear Spirit. Our endless island can't be compared to the demon realm. In my opinion, even a rank 10 divine weapon can't compare to my Chaos Sky Staff. The Black Bear Spirit chuckled, as if he was not aware of being mocked. Although the crafting technique of these divine weapons is very crude, and there is no crafting technique at all, the quality of the materials is very good. These level 5 divine weapons can even be used to craft sage-level treasures. Ling Xiao said slowly. He looked around carefully, and then went up to the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor was filled with 6th rank to 10th rank divine weapons. They were clearly much more exquisite. Sabers, spears, swords, and halberds emitted a cold light, looking incomparably sharp. Level 6 to level 10 divine weapons are mostly the weapons of demon saints and great sages. Just like the stone staff I had before, it was a level 8 divine weapon. The Black Bear Spirit explained. Is that the broken stick that I shattered with a single punch? An 8th level divine weapon? The old goat's eyes widened. His understanding of the world was refreshed once again. How poor were these demons? The material of this sword is actually celestial chalcedony. This is a material used to refine supreme-grade sacred treasures. Taoist Wuliang shuddered and could not help exclaiming, "Celestial chalcedony?" Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He realized that Taoist Wuliang had his eyes on a level 7 divine weapon. It was completely black, but there were specks of silver light flickering within it, as if it was covered with a layer of dreamy mist. It looked extremely extraordinary. The material of this sword was indeed celestial chalcedony, and there was so much of it that it could be used to refine a supreme-grade sacred treasure. However, looking at this sword, it was terribly refined. Someone had used demonic fire to casually quench the impurities and condense them into the shape of a sword. There were also 2 extremely crude miniature formations. One could make the sword sturdier, and the other could make the sword sharper. Ling Xiao could see that there were no miniature formations engraved on weapons below level 5. It was very crude. Only weapons above level 6 would have miniature formations engraved on them, and most of them only had 1 formation. Almost all of them were sturdy and sharp formations. The material of this saber is actually dragon blood gold essence. The old goat's gaze also fell on a blood-red saber. His eyes were filled with disbelief. There's also million-year-old thunderstruck wood, mixed thunderstone, heavenly scar gold, ice fire vine. These are all supreme-grade refining materials. What a waste! Taoist Wuliang thumped his chest and stamped his feet. His eyes were filled with incomparable pity. In Taoist Wuliang's opinion, these top-grade materials could be used to refine supreme-grade sacred treasures. However, these bumpkins had carelessly refined them into some bullshit divine weapon. These so-called divine weapons, other than being sturdier and sharper, had no other use at all. If these top-grade materials were brought to the demon realm, it would definitely cause a frenzy. These bumpkins really don't know what's good for them. Why don't we rob this divine weapon pavilion? The old goat's eyes were filled with eagerness. Ling Xiao could see that the price of these divine weapons was not expensive. Level 1 to level 5 divine weapons cost 100 to 3,000 origin pills. As for a level 6 divine weapon to a level 10 divine weapon, it would only cost 10,000 to 100,000 origin pills. However, in Ling Zhao's opinion, even if they used origin pills to buy these top-grade materials, they would still make a huge profit. If they brought them to the demon realm, they would make thousands of times the profit in the blink of an eye. Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other with a strange and excited expression in their eyes. This endless island was really a treasure land. Treasures of heaven and earth were everywhere here. Just like in the ancient times, there were many top-grade materials and precious origin saint medicines. However, the demon clan powerhouses here were all bumpkins who did not know what was good for them and sold the treasures cheaply. If they brought these treasures to the demon realm, the harvest might not be smaller than the 4 origin pill rivers that they had stolen. The 3 of them looked at each other and immediately understood each other's thoughts. This was a big deal, and they had to do it. Brother Ling Tian, there's something you don't know. Our weapon refining standards here are indeed very average. Most of the powerhouses' battles are close combat. Even if they have weapons, the requirements are very low. As long as it is hard and sharp enough, it is a good weapon. Naturally, it can't be compared to the treasures you gave me. I reckon that even the so-called Demon King weapon is not my primordial chaos staff. The black bear spirit explained with a smug look in his eyes. When he thought that the weapons used by the Demon Kings were not as good as his primordial chaos staff, the black bear spirit was extremely proud and excited. He could not wait to take out the primordial chaos staff to show off. While everyone was talking, Ling Xiao set up a defensive barrier, so the people around them did not hear their discussion. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 26. Let's go to the 3rd floor and take a look at the so-called Demon King weapons. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he walked toward the 3rd floor of the Divine Weapon Pavilion. After observing the 1st and 2nd floors for a while, Ling Xiao had a clear understanding of the craftsmanship of the Endless Island. The craftsmanship of the Endless Island was probably not even comparable to the craftsmen of the God of War's world. It was still in the primordial age. On the 3rd floor of the Divine Weapon Pavilion, Huang Qijing took out 3 white jade boxes and introduced them to the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King as if they were treasures. Lord Demon Kings, these 3 Demon King weapons are the Heaven Splitter Sword, the Bloodthirsty Saber, and the God-Slaying Spear. They are very powerful. What do you think? Huang Qi said with a big smile. Shopkeeper Huang, can we take a look at these 3 Demon King weapons? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Huang Qi looked at Ling Xiao, Old Goat, and Taoist Wuliang in confusion. The 3 of them were in the Great Saint Realm, but they were unfamiliar, and their auras were a little strange. These are my 3 brothers. They have some knowledge of craftsmanship. Shopkeeper Huang, can you show them? Golden Lion King explained. So they are craftsmen? Please take a look. Huang Qi was in awe, and his smile widened. Thank you. Ling Xiao picked up the Heaven Splitter Sword. The Heaven Splitter Sword was as black as ink, but the blade was as thin as a cicada's wing. The sword trembled slightly, and a clear dragon's roar was heard. This is Dragon Mark Gold. Ling Xiao's entire body trembled. He couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air as he secretly said. He did not expect the Heaven Splitter Sword to be made of Dragon Mark Gold. The Dragon Mark Gold contained the Great Tao Dragon Mark and the spiritual aura of the laws. It was born from the heavens and earth, and it was a supreme treasure for crafting emperor weapons. The Dragon Mark Gold was used to craft the so-called Demon King weapons? What a waste of God's gift. Ling Xiao could tell that the so-called Demonic King weapon was only made of slightly better materials than a level 10 divine weapon. Furthermore, there were 3 extremely exquisite miniature spirit arrays engraved on it, 1 for toughness, 1 for sharpness, and 1 for shattering. These spirit arrays were able to contain the power of a Saint King Realm Master, allowing this weapon to explode with great power. In terms of refinement, it was indeed much more intricate than a level 10 divine weapon. However, in Ling Xiao's eyes, it was still not worth mentioning. The Dragon Mark Gold was still the Dragon Mark Gold. Ling Xiao immediately decided that he had to get his hands on the Heaven Splitter Sword no matter what. This is. When Taoist Wuliang saw the Heaven Splitter Sword in Ling Xiao's hand, he was also shocked. However, he did not show it on his face, and did not attract anyone's attention. After all, that old man Huang Qi seemed to be very cunning. If he noticed something, it would be much more troublesome to obtain the Dragon Mark Tao Gold. Taoist Wuyang's attainments in refining weapons were extremely high. The Dao clan was originally proficient in alchemy and refining weapons. However, Taoist Wuyang's interest was in refining weapons. With his current level of refining weapons, it would not be a problem for him to refine supreme-grade holy treasures. He could tell at a glance that the Heaven Splitter Sword had been forged not long ago. This Heaven Splitter Sword should have been forged by the Divine Weapon Pavilion. Maybe they still have the Dragon Mark Tao Gold. I must get the Dragon Mark Tao Gold at all costs. Taoist Wuyang transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. I know, Ling Xiao replied calmly. As for the other 2 Demon King weapons, the Bloodlust Saber and the God-Slaying Spear, they were made of supreme-grade treasures. Although they could be refined into supreme-grade holy treasures and were very precious, they were far inferior to the Dragon Pattern Gold. Ling Xiao saw that the Golden Lion King wasn't interested in the 3 Demonic King weapons. After all, although the materials used to make them were extraordinary, their craftsmanship was far inferior to the Violet Sun Saber. The Violet Sun Saber could allow the Golden Lion King to increase his battle prowess. However, the Heavenly Wolf King and Black Panther King were rather tempted. Shopkeeper Huang, how many origin pills do these 3 Demon King weapons cost? We'll take it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. This young master is really bold to take away the 3 most precious Demon King weapons of our Divine Weapon Pavilion. The Heaven Splitter Sword costs 5 million origin pills. The Bloodlust Saber and the God-Slaying Spear cost 1.5 million origin pills each. A total of 8 million origin pills. I'll give you a discount. 7 million origin pills will do. Huang Qi said with a smile, looking like a cunning old fox. 5 million origin pills. Why is the Heaven Splitter Sword so expensive? The Black Bear Spirit exclaimed in shock. Ordinary Demon King weapons cost around 1 million origin pills. However, the Heaven Splitter Sword cost 5 million origin pills. The Black Bear Spirit looked a little unfriendly. Did this old man think that he and his brothers were easy to bully? Dear Demon Kings, our Divine Weapon Pavilion has always clearly marked the price. It's definitely worth it. Although the Heaven Splitter Sword is also a Demon King weapon, its material is extremely precious. It's much more precious than the Bloodlust Saber and the God-slaying Spear. Even the Grand Demon Kings would be tempted. It's the most precious treasure of our Divine Weapon Pavilion. If not for the three of you, I wouldn't have taken it out, Huang Qi said with a smile. The Divine Weapon Pavilion wasn't a fool. Although their blacksmiths didn't recognize the Dragon Vein Dao Gold, they could feel that the Dragon Vein Dao Gold was extraordinary. Naturally, the price would be much higher. However, the so-called most precious treasure of the pavilion was just Huang Qi's nonsense. The Divine Weapon Pavilion still had some Dragon Vein Dao Gold in stock. When the Heaven Splitter Sword was sold, they should be able to refine a few more Demon King weapons. At that time, it would be a considerable amount of income. 7 million origin pills, huh? No problem. Shopkeeper Huang, we brothers have some knowledge of weapon refining. Therefore, we like the material of the Heaven Splitter Sword very much. If your pavilion is willing to take it out, we can buy it at a high price. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Even if the Dragon Vein Dao Gold was worth 500 million origin pills, or even 5 billion origin pills, it would be a huge profit for him. The material used to refine the Heaven Splitter Sword is black dragon metal. It's a pity that our Divine Weapon Pavilion obtained it by accident. We only managed to refine one Heaven Splitter Sword. We don't have any left, Huang Qi said with some difficulty. Shopkeeper Huang, the black dragon metal you mentioned, I'm willing to use 5 million origin pills to exchange for it, Ling Xiao said with a smile. 5 million origin pills for 100 kilograms of black dragon metal? Huang Qi couldn't help but tremble. Even his breathing became a little hurried. One had to know that the black dragon gold in this Heaven Splitter Sword was only 50 kilograms. Moreover, other precious treasures of heaven and earth had been added to forge the Heaven Splitter Sword, which was why it could be sold for the astronomical price of 5 million origin pills. However, Ling Xiao was willing to use 5 million origin pills to buy 100 kilograms of black dragon metal. Huang Qi's first thought was that Ling Xiao was crazy. Frowny face bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 26-27. That's right. Shopkeeper Huang, if you don't want to sell, then forget it, Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Then, with a flash of light in his palm, 7 million origin pills surged towards Huang Qi like a torrent, shining brightly. At that moment, the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King's breathing quickened. Their eyes were filled with shock. Although the three of them were known as the Monster Kings of the 72 Caves, they were the poorest Monster Kings. Even if they added up all their wealth, they might not even have 7 million origin elixirs. Seeing that Ling Xiao had taken out 7 million origin elixirs without batting an eye, the three Monster Kings were shocked. This young master is indeed generous. Since young master likes the Black Dragon Gold, the Divine Weapon Pavilion will not take it away from you. We still have 2,320 gene of Black Dragon Gold in the Divine Weapon Pavilion. We will sell them all to young master. We will give you a discount. How about 100 million origin elixirs? Huang Qi asked tentatively. Sure, Ling Xiao said indifferently. However, he was extremely excited. He had thought that the Divine Weapon Pavilion would be lucky to have 100 to 200 gene of Dragon Gold. He did not expect the Divine Weapon Pavilion to have more than 2,000 gene of Dragon Gold. This was a supreme treasure that contained the Great Dao imprint. It was a treasure that could be used to refine an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Although the Dragon Gold was only 2,000 gene, that was because the extreme Dao Emperor's aura had not been activated. Once it was activated, it would be hundreds of millions of gene, and could even kill a king sage. 2,000 gene of Dragon Gold was enough to refine 2 to 3 extreme Dao Emperor weapons. Daoist Wuliang and the old goat were overjoyed. The more they looked at Huang Qi, the more they liked him. The monster tribe in Demon City was too cute. They were all a bunch of idiots. However, Huang Qi was also extremely excited. In Huang Qi's opinion, Ling Xiao was the idiot. Using 100 million origin elixirs to buy the Black Dragon Gold, was simply stupid. 100 million origin elixirs were enough to cultivate a monster king. A monster king was more precious than a few hundred monster king weapons. It was the foundation of a powerful force. Even if these 2,000 kilograms of black dragon gold were all refined into demon king weapons, excluding the wasted materials, it would be a miracle if it could be sold for 50 million origin pills. But now there was no need to waste any effort refining it. The materials were directly sold for 100 million origin pills. This was definitely the Divine Weapon Pavilion's biggest business. Young master, this is all of the black dragon gold, please check it. Huang Qi quickly collected all the black dragon gold and placed it in a 10,000-year-old warm jade box. He handed it to Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with anticipation. It was as if he was afraid that Ling Xiao would go back on his word. Ling Xiao opened the jade box. Inside the jade box was a black ore that was about 1 meter long. There seemed to be a dragon-shaped brand on it, and there was a mysterious dragon's roar. The black light was dazzling, and it was so bright that people couldn't open their eyes. Sure enough, it's dragon mark gold. I'm rich. Ling Xiao and Daoist Wuliang looked at each other and were overjoyed. Here are 100 million origin pills. Keep it well, shopkeeper Huang. Ling Xiao waved his sleeves and 100 million origin source elixirs flew towards Huang Qi like a river. At the same time, Ling Xiao kept the dragon vein gold and the 3 demonic king weapons in a very natural and smooth manner. 100 million origin pills. Brother Ling Tian. This is too shocking. The Golden Lion King and his 2 brothers widened their eyes in shock. They were already shocked when Ling Xiao took out 7 million origin pills. They did not expect Ling Xiao to take out 100 million origin pills in just a blink of an eye. 100 million origin pills. Among the demon kings of the 72 caves, only the most powerful demon kings would have so many origin pills. The Heavenly Wolf King and the Black Panther King were also stunned. They did not expect their master to have such a powerful brother. 100 million origin pills. They had never seen so many origin pills in their lives. The 3 demon kings felt deeply hurt. 100 million origin pills. No problem. Young master is really generous. Huang Qi's voice trembled as he spoke. His mouth was almost crooked from laughing. 170 million origin pills. This was definitely the Divine Weapon Pavilion's greatest harvest, without a doubt. Young master, do you still need any weapons? Feel free to look around. I'll give you a 20% discount on everything you like today. No, I'll give you a 30% discount. Huang Qi said generously. In his eyes, the word spendthrift was written above Ling Xiao's head. It was not easy to meet such a spendthrift. How could he not take advantage of him? At the same time, Huang Qi was even more curious about Ling Xiao's identity. Could he be the son of a great demon king? Otherwise, how could he have so many origin pills? He had also decided that he would investigate this young man's identity. There's no need for that. I've gained a lot today. However, if shopkeeper Huang comes across any treasures like the dragon mark gold in the future, you can come to me. The price will definitely satisfy you. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After obtaining the dragon mark gold, Ling Xiao was not that interested in other treasures. Moreover, Ling Xiao had his own plans. Those top-grade materials would belong to him sooner or later. Young master, don't worry. Shopkeeper Huang hurriedly said. Huang Qi, take out the Heaven Splitter sword in the Divine Weapon Pavilion. I want it. At this moment, an extremely cold and domineering voice sounded. Boom. On the 3rd floor of the Divine Weapon Pavilion, the closed door of the room was pushed open violently. A handsome young man in silver armor with a slender figure and a jade-like face walked over. His expression was cold and arrogant, and his eyes were filled with a domineering look. His aura was extremely powerful. His cultivation had reached the King Sage realm. Although he looked like he had just broken through, he was indeed a great demon king. Everyone's expression changed. Who was this person? How could he be so arrogant? Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed. Could it be that this person saw through the Heaven Splitter sword? The young man in front of him gave Ling Xiao a familiar feeling. This young man also had the bloodline of the dragon tribe. Moreover, his bloodline was extremely powerful. So it's Prince Baifeng. Prince Baifeng, what a coincidence. The Heaven Splitter sword has just been sold. When Huang Qi saw the young man, he could not help but laugh bitterly. You sold it? Who allowed you to sell it? I came to see the Heaven Splitter sword this morning. The Heaven Splitter sword is destined to be my weapon. How dare you sell it? A cold light flashed in Baifeng's eyes as he stared at Huang Qi. Prince Baifeng, you came to see the Heaven Splitter sword this morning, but you didn't say that you wanted to buy it. The Heaven Splitter sword has already been bought by this young master. Huang Qi pointed at Ling Xiao and said. Ling Xiao frowned. Huang Qi was clearly trying to divert the trouble away from him. His impression of this old man instantly became extremely bad. Chapter 26-28. You're the one who bought my Heaven Splitter sword? Hand it over, I'll buy it. Baifeng's gaze landed on Ling Xiao as he spoke in a condescending tone. Brother Ling Tian, this Crown Prince Baifeng is the son of the White Dragon King. He's talented and powerful, and he's usually very domineering. If it's not necessary, it's best not to get into a conflict with him. The Golden Lion King transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao, telling him about the identity of the Crown Prince Baifeng. The son of the White Dragon King? This is interesting. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. He had just killed the White Dragon King's younger brother, and he didn't expect to meet the White Dragon King's son now. If the Crown Prince Baifeng knew that his uncle, the Black Snake King, had died in the hands of Ling Xiao and the others, his expression would probably be very interesting. I'm sorry, I don't plan to sell the Heaven Splitter sword. Ling Xiao said indifferently. You don't plan to sell it? No one has ever dared to reject something that I've set my eyes on. I'll give you two choices now. 1. Hand over the Heaven Splitter sword and scram. 2. Don't blame me for killing you. The Crown Prince Baifeng's eyes flashed coldly as he sneered. Where did this wild dog come from barking here? The Crown Prince Baifeng, right? If you know what's good for you, scram. I don't want to kill anyone today, so don't provoke me. The old goat sneered with an unscrupulous look. There were always a bunch of ignorant people everywhere, just like this Baifeng. His nostrils were almost on top of his head, and he spoke in a commanding tone. People like him wouldn't live long anywhere. However, the old goat specialized in dealing with people like him. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like this? Kneel down and slap yourself. Don't stop until I say so. The Crown Prince Baifeng's eyes flashed with killing intent as he spoke coldly. He looked extremely domineering, but no matter if it was Huang Qi, the Golden Lion King, or the others, they didn't think it was a problem. After all, he was the Crown Prince Baifeng, the son of the White Dragon King, one of the 4 Grand Monster Kings. There are such self-righteous trash everywhere. Ox-nosed old Taoist, do you think the White Dragon King will come looking for me if I kill him? The old goat sighed. Yes. Taoist Wuliang nodded affirmatively. Previously, he had killed the White Dragon King's younger brother. If he killed the White Dragon King's son now, the White Dragon King would definitely go crazy. How dare you? Who are you? I want you to have no place in the 1,000 Demon City. Crown Prince Baifeng's face turned even uglier. He had always been a man of his word in the Demon City, so he had developed such a domineering and arrogant personality. Everyone around him had always been respectful and flattering to him, and no one had ever dared to disobey him. He didn't expect that these guys with great sage realm cultivation would dare to ignore him, Crown Prince Baifeng. This instantly made him inexplicably angry. How troublesome. Killing this idiot would only dirty my hands for no reason. Sky Wolf, Black Panther, you two throw him out. The old goat shook his head and said, he was just a spoiled guy. If he didn't have a good father, he would have been hacked to death many times over. The old goat only felt that such a guy was funny, and he was too lazy to fight him. Yes. Sky Wolf and Black Panther looked at each other, hesitated for a moment, then gritted their teeth and agreed. Sky Wolf King, Black Panther King, don't you know that my father is the White Dragon King? How dare you attack me? Did you eat bear's heart or leopard's guts? Crown Prince Baifeng said angrily. Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King were the demon kings of the 72 caves, so he naturally recognized them. However, which of the 72 caves demon kings didn't treat the 4 demon kings with respect? Not to mention these two guys who were at the bottom of the list. Crown Prince Baifeng didn't take them seriously at all. Sorry, Crown Prince Baifeng. We are the young master's followers, so we can only attack you. Sky Wolf King said expressionlessly. He and Black Panther King were on the same page, and they couldn't escape the responsibility of Black Snake King's death. If the White Dragon King pursued the matter, the two of them would definitely die. Now there was only one way left, and that was to fight with the old goat until the end of the day. So be it if they die. After all, they didn't like Crown Prince Baifeng for a long time. Whoosh! Whoosh! Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King rushed up from the left and right, as fast as lightning. Sky Wolf King's mouth burst out with the sound of the Sky Wolf howling moon, and Black Panther King's sharp claws seemed to be able to tear the void apart. You deserve to die. Crown Prince Baifeng was about to go crazy. However, he had just broken through to the Demon King realm, and was caught off guard. How could he be a match for two Demon Kings who had experienced hundreds of battles? A terrifying sound of the Sky Wolf howling moon rushed into his mind, causing his body to tremble violently, as if he had lost the ability to resist. Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King directly grabbed him, and threw him down from the third floor without hesitation. Bang! The window on the third floor shattered, and Crown Prince Baifeng fell on the street outside in an extremely sorry state. Well done. Here's your reward. Old Goat smiled faintly, then flicked his finger. Immediately, a sword and a saber flew toward Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King, emitting a bright light. Holy aura filled the air, and they contained extremely powerful spirituality. Old Goat took out two low-grade holy treasures and gave them to Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King. Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King were stunned. They immediately received the treasures as if they had received a treasure. They were overjoyed, and their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. They knelt on one knee toward Old Goat and said, "Thank you, young master." They had long coveted the three Golden Lion King brothers' treasures. They didn't expect that they would receive the treasures of their dreams just because they helped Old Goat throw Crown Prince Baifeng out. Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King immediately expressed their loyalty to Old Goat, and secretly decided that they would meticulously carry out young master's orders in the future. After all, there were treasures to be gained by following young master. This is... Huang Qi's eyes suddenly narrowed, and he revealed a look of extreme shock. Although Sky Wolf King and Black Panther King quickly put away the two treasures, and Huang Qi only saw a rough outline, he could still tell that these two were extremely powerful weapons. They were even more powerful than the Demon King weapons of the Divine Weapon Pavilion. This Old Goat actually had such treasures? Huang Qi's eyes revealed a hint of greed. Let's go. Ling Xiao didn't even look at Huang Qi. He said indifferently, then led the group out of the Divine Weapon Pavilion. Meanwhile, outside the Divine Weapon Pavilion, Crown Prince Baifeng was in an extremely sorry state. However, his eyes were currently filled with towering rage and murderous intent. Just you wait, I won't let you off. Crown Prince Baifeng roared angrily. He directly leaped up and left the Divine Weapon Pavilion. That was Crown Prince Baifeng just now. How could he be thrown down from the Divine Weapon Pavilion? Someone exclaimed, recognizing Crown Prince Baifeng's identity. Who knows? Who is so daring to treat Crown Prince Baifeng like that? No matter who that person is, he's done for. Hee, Crown Prince Baifeng is used to being arrogant and overbearing. Now he finally suffered a great loss. There's a good show to watch now. Crown Prince Baifeng must have gone back to find someone. This Divine Weapon Pavilion dared to treat Crown Prince Baifeng like that. I'm afraid they're going to be smashed to pieces. On the streets, everyone was discussing animatedly. Their eyes were filled with ridicule and anticipation. Chapter 26-29. Brother Ling Tian, we killed the Black Snake King. I'm afraid the White Dragon King wouldn't be able to find us so easily. Now that we've offended Crown Prince Baifeng, it won't be long before the White Dragon King finds out that we killed the Black Snake King. The Golden Lion King said with a hint of worry in his eyes. The White Dragon King is the most protective. He's even more overbearing than Crown Prince Baifeng. Those who dared to offend him in the past are all dead. I'm afraid we're walking right into his trap by coming to the Demon City. The White Eagle Great Sage said slowly. What's there to be afraid of? It's just the White Dragon King. It's fine if he doesn't offend us, but if he does, the Demon City will have 3 Demon Kings in the future. The old goat smiled nonchalantly. He couldn't defeat the White Dragon King, but Ling Xiao had even killed Heavenly Venerable Demonic Sunflower. The Endless Island was just a forgotten backwater. He didn't believe that the White Dragon King was stronger than Heavenly Venerable Demonic Sunflower. That's right. What bullshit, White Dragon King. If he dares to cause trouble for our young master, he'll have to ask for my sword's permission first. The Heavenly Wolf King smiled proudly. The sword in his hand was extremely sharp and dazzling. He was here to show his loyalty. This young master was really generous. He didn't care about the White Dragon King. He only had eyes for the young master. He'll have to ask for my sword's permission first. The Black Panther King said hurriedly. The 2 of them had received the saint treasures from the old goat. After refining them, they could feel the power of the 2 treasures. Their confidence increased greatly, and they even had the illusion that they could kill the 4 Demon Kings directly. Don't worry, Golden Lion King. The White Dragon King won't dare to make a move during the Demon Conference. If he really comes to cause trouble for us, just leave everything to me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. That's right. The White Dragon King won't cause trouble for us during the Demon Conference. After the Demon Conference ends, we'll leave the Demon City immediately. Seeing Ling Xiao's calm expression, the Golden Lion King's heart calmed down and nodded. Golden Lion King, how long until the Demon Conference begins? Taoist Wuliang asked. That's hard to say. Maybe 10 days, maybe a month. Do you see the myriad demon ancient tree in the center? When the 10,000 fiend fruit matures, the 10,000 fiend ancient tree will show a phenomenon. That will be the start of the myriad fiend conference. The Golden Lion King pointed at the towering myriad demons ancient tree in the distance. Let's find a place to stay first. Ling Xiao nodded. It seemed like there were still a few more days before the myriad demon meet began. Perhaps he could use these few days to plan properly. Let's go to the Demon King's abode. That's the most luxurious inn in the entire Demon City. The Demon Kings of the 72 caves all live there. The food there is the best, and the beauties of the Rabbit tribe and the Fox tribe are all there. The Black Bear Spirit's eyes lit up as he spoke. Taoist Wuyang's eyes lit up, and he immediately made up his mind. The Demon King's residence was located in the central region of the Demon City. It was close to the Demon Ancient Tree. Therefore, the heaven and earth energy there was extremely rich. The Demon King's residence occupied a large area. There were many quaint courtyards. Spiritual fog lingered in the air. It looked extraordinary. Even the guards in front of the Demon King's residence were Demon Clan experts in the Saint Realm. However, the Demon King's residence was extremely expensive. The most expensive heaven courtyard cost 10,000 origin elixirs a day. 10,000 origin elixirs could buy a rank 6 divine weapon. However, 10,000 origin elixirs were peanuts to Ling Xiao and the other 2. Taoist Wuliang waved his hand and took out 200,000 origin elixirs to book a heaven courtyard. There were more than 10 rooms in the heaven courtyard. Everyone stayed there temporarily. In Ling Xiao's room, Taoist Wuliang and the old mountain goat were extremely excited. Dragon Pattern Taoist Gold. That's the Dragon Pattern Taoist Gold used to forge an Apex Emperor weapon. I didn't expect these bumpkins to sell it just like that. Haha. We're rich. Taoist Wuliang's eyes were filled with ecstasy. The Heaven Splitter sword in front of him emitted a strange dragon roar. The jade box was opened and the Dragon Pattern Taoist Gold was filled with mysterious great Tao imprints. Taoist Wuliang was extremely obsessed with forging weapons. If it was a top-notch heavenly treasure, he might not have lost his composure. However, a supreme treasure that could forge an Apex Emperor weapon was something that even emperors and great emperors would be moved by. Let alone Taoist Wuliang. When one's cultivation reached the Emperor realm, he could start to nurture his own natal treasure. The natal treasure would be upgraded to an Apex Emperor weapon the moment he attained his Tao as a great emperor. Therefore, a great emperor could only forge one Apex Emperor weapon in his lifetime. Only a peerless expert like the Heavenly Emperor might be able to forge a second Apex Emperor weapon. Therefore, An Apex Emperor weapon was extremely precious and powerful. When it was fully awakened, it could even erupt with the power of a great emperor. 2,000 kilograms of dragon pattern Taoist gold. If we add some other heavenly treasures, it's enough to nurture 2 Apex Emperor weapons. The Endless Island is really a good place. Perhaps there might be other Apex metals. The old goat said with a smile on his face. That's right. The Endless Sea Island is like a forgotten primeval world. It contains all kinds of precious natural treasures. I have an idea. Why don't we open a shop and trade pills and weapons for all kinds of natural treasures? What do you think? Ling Xiao said with a smile. The Myriad Demon Conference was about to begin. Many experts from the Endless Island had gathered at the Myriad Demon City. There were probably a few hundred demon kings in the Myriad Demon City. These demon saints and demon kings had a large amount of resources in their hands. However, they did not know how to use them. In the end, they could only waste them. This was the best opportunity. Open a shop. The old goat and Taoist Wuyang's eyes lit up. Here's my idea. I'll be in charge of refining elixirs and Taoist Wuyang will be in charge of refining weapons. Anyway, the standard of refining elixirs and weapons here is extremely poor. However, there are many heavenly treasures. As long as we refine some sage to be treasures and divine elixirs, I'm afraid we can attract a large number of people. The old goat will be in charge of attracting customers. Ling Xiao said with a smile as if he had a card up his sleeve. After hearing Ling Xiao's explanation, the old goat and Taoist Wuyang's eyes lit up. They were extremely excited. According to Ling Xiao, they would be able to obtain enough heavenly treasures in the shortest amount of time. If they could also obtain 1 or 2 types of extreme metals similar to the dragon mark Dao gold, they would really be rich. Let's do it. The old goat and Taoist Wuyang said fiercely. Chapter 26:30. On the second day, on the busiest street of Demon City, a shop called Lingxiao Pavilion opened for business. Lingxiao directly rented an incomparably majestic and resplendent 3-story pavilion. The first floor mainly sold divine weapons, the second floor sold medicinal pills, and the third floor sold incomparably mysterious supreme treasures. Furthermore, only experts at the demonic king realm could enter the third floor. The Golden Lion King and his brothers naturally obeyed Lingxiao. White Eagle Supreme Sage and Black Bear Spirit were in charge of welcoming customers, while Lingxiao and Taoist Wuyang were in charge of selling treasures. As for the old goat, he brought the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King to various shops in Demon City to purchase all kinds of treasures. As for the divine weapons on the first floor, with Taoist Wuyang's skill in refining weapons, he managed to create hundreds of powerful divine weapons overnight. Similarly, Ling Xiao managed to create hundreds of various medicinal pills. On the third floor, Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuyang took out some half-saint and low-grade holy treasures to attract the Demon King experts. The opening of High Heaven Pavilion didn't attract too much attention. After all, Ling Xiao and his brothers were not famous. Even the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King were ranked last among the 72 Demon Kings. Therefore, it did not attract much attention. Although some people were curious about Ling Xiao Pavilion and went in to take a look, they did not pay much attention. At this time, the old goat brought the 3 Demon Kings to a place called 100 Treasures Tower. Call your head shopkeeper here. I have a big deal. The old goat smiled proudly. When the people of 100 Treasures Tower saw that the old goat's subordinates were 3 Demon Kings, they were shocked. They did not dare to delay and asked the head shopkeeper to come out. How may I address you, sir? I am Gongxia, the head shopkeeper of 100 Treasures Tower. An old man with a ruddy face and white hair walked out. He seemed to be a supreme saint. His eyes were old and wise. He bowed to the old goat. Gongxia was shocked. He could recognize the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King and Black Panther King. How could these 3 Demon Kings be the old goat's guards? What was the old goat's background? This king is the 3rd elder of High Heaven Pavilion. I want to buy some heaven and earth treasures from 100 Treasures Building. I wonder if you can use divine weapons and medicinal pills to exchange for them? The old goat said indifferently. High Heaven Pavilion? If young master wants to buy heaven and earth treasures, of course you can. However, can you show me the divine weapons and elixirs that young master mentioned? Gongja had some doubts in his heart. What kind of place was High Heaven Pavilion? Sure. See for yourself. The old goat waved his hand and 3 semi-sage level treasures and 3 bottles of pills appeared in front of Gong Yun. This is... Gong Yun couldn't help but tremble when he saw the 3 half-saint treasures. His eyes were filled with excitement. This is a 10th level divine weapon. No, even a level 10 divine weapon wouldn't be so exquisite and powerful. This sword can actually transform into a myriad of forms, and it can even release the law of fire. It can even change its size at will. This is an epic-making level of weaponsmithing. Gong Yun said excitedly. His eyes were filled with fanaticism. He could see that although the materials used in these 3 semi-sage level treasures were very ordinary, the weapons refined from them were incomparably powerful. Even in his hands, they could increase his combat strength by more than 50%. He had never heard of a weapon that could increase combat strength by 50%. And this medicinal pill. What kind of medicinal pill is this? The medicinal fragrance is so fragrant that it actually contains Taoist rhymes. Just by smelling it, my cultivation has increased. Could this be a medicinal pill that can increase cultivation? Gong Yun picked up the medicinal pill again. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The old goat's eyes revealed a trace of disdain. What a bunch of country bumpkins. These were the most ordinary semi-sage level treasures, and ordinary divine pills that could increase cultivation. However, in the eyes of Gong Yun, they were simply supreme treasures. However, this was also good. If these guys were not ignorant, how could they fool people? The weapons and medicinal pills that the old goat took out were also very particular. Although the refining level of divine tools was far higher than here, divine tools were for God realm experts after all. Divine tools used by demon saint experts were easy to damage as they were not hard and sharp enough. As for semi-sage level treasures, as long as they were infused with powerful saint power, even demon saints would find it difficult to destroy them as they were hard and sharp enough. As for sage level treasures, they were naturally even more powerful. However, they were all in High Heaven Pavilion, and the old goat would not take them out so easily. These weapons and medicinal pills were refined by the Great Elder and Second Elder of High Heaven Pavilion. These medicinal pills are indeed medicinal pills that can increase cultivation. Moreover, these are just ordinary weapons and medicinal pills. We have more precious treasures in High Heaven Pavilion. The old goat smiled proudly. Was it refined by the First Elder and Second Elder of High Heaven Pavilion? It's incredible. The 2 elders must be peerless experts who have comprehended the truth of heaven and earth. These 3 weapons and 3 bottles of medicinal pills will be priced at 20 million origin pills. What do you think, young master? Gong Yun asked nervously. 20 million origin pills? It's just SOSO, but I don't want origin pills. I only want heaven and earth treasures. You can give me heaven and earth treasures worth 20 million origin pills. The old goat nodded. No problem. Gong Yun put away the 3 weapons and medicinal pills as fast as he could, and then took out heaven and earth treasures worth 20 million origin pills. I'm rich. When the old goat saw this, he was very happy. He was very excited. These heaven and earth treasures were actually 10 kinds of top materials, almost all of which were used to refine sage-level treasures. Moreover, each of them weighed more than 1,000 pounds. According to the value of the demon realm, the value of these heaven and earth treasures could be sold for at least hundreds of millions of origin pills. The old goat took out semi-sage level treasures and medicinal pills that were worth tens of thousands of origin pills. This was almost 10,000 times the profit. It was crazy. Young master, it's mainly because our 100 treasure pavilions funds have been a little tight recently. Otherwise, we would definitely give a higher price. In the future, if young master has such treasures, you must consider our 100 treasure pavilion. There are still many heaven and earth treasures in our treasury. Young master will definitely be satisfied. Gong Yun said with some embarrassment. Satisfied. Very satisfied. Elder Gong, our High Heaven Pavilion just opened today. It's the pavilion on the street. There are countless treasures inside. If Elder Gong is interested, you can go take a look now. I still have something to do, so I'll take my leave first." The old goat smiled slightly. "High Heaven Pavilion open today? Then this old man must go." "Young master, don't worry, I'll go to High Heaven Pavilion now." Gong Yun was suddenly overjoyed, and his eyes were full of excitement. Chapter 26:31. Gong Yun quickly ordered his subordinates to bring all the treasures in the treasury. They must go to High Heaven Pavilion and eat all the treasures. If they could really eat them, then 100 Treasures Pavilion would really be rich. Gong Yun excitedly went to High Heaven Pavilion. The old goat also left 100 Treasures Pavilion and went to the next shop under the protection of the 3 demon kings. "Treasure Pavilion? Call your head shopkeeper. This young master has a big business to discuss with him." Standing in front of Treasure Pavilion, the old goat proudly smiled at the person who came to receive him. Soon the head shopkeeper of Treasure Pavilion welcomed the old goat. In this way, the old goat continued to go in and out of various shops in Demon City. Then the shopkeepers and elders of the shops began to go crazy and began to go to High Heaven Pavilion. The old goat's vision was also very crafty. He only chose the powerful shops and didn't even look at the small shops. Under the old goat's constant attacks, the people in the shops were attracted by the treasures in the old goat's hands and began to go crazy. Thus, everyone in the entire Demon City saw an incomparably strange scene. On the bustling streets, the powerful shops closed one after another, and then everyone rushed to High Heaven Pavilion. The originally cold and cheerless High Heaven Pavilion instantly became lively. "First elder, second elder, I'm Gong Zong from 100 Treasure Pavilion. I'm friends with your third elder. We'll take all of these weapons." "Elders, I am the head shopkeeper of Treasure Pavilion. The third elder asked me to come. I will eat all these pills." "Why do you want all of them?" "I have a friendship with the third elder. These weapons are all mine. I want half of the pills. Whoever dares to fight with me, I won't play with him." "Who is afraid of who? If you have the ability, come to the stage and fight." When everyone saw the weapons and pills in the High Heaven Pavilion, they all went crazy. Each and every one of their eyes lit up, and their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Although they were ignorant and were called bumpkins by the old goat, they were not stupid. They could naturally see that the weapons and pills in High Heaven Pavilion were all of high quality. Even the worst of these weapons were much more precious than a 10th order divine weapon, and the price was even cheaper than a 10th order divine weapon. As for those pills, they were even more precious. In the past, although there were shops selling pills in the Demon City, the quality of those pills was very poor. They were only slightly purified and had not been refined at all. Whether it was appearance or effect, they were far inferior to the saint pills that Ling Xiao took out. What's more, there were many types of pills. Some could increase cultivation, some could expel inner demons, some could heal injuries, and some could even transform demonic beasts. Almost every demon race powerhouse went crazy over the transfiguration elixir. If a demon clan expert wanted to transform, they could only do so if their bloodline was strong enough, their cultivation was strong enough, or if they accidentally ate some kind of natural treasure to transform. How could they transform through elixirs? This had completely shattered their understanding of the world. However, when Ling Xiao personally demonstrated how a demon clan expert with a pig's head and a human body ate a transformation elixir and turned into a big fatty, everyone believed it. That was why they were in such a state of madness. Especially these demon clan experts. Although they were very kind when doing business, they still had the cruelty and madness of the demon clan in their bones. After a few words, they were about to fight. If the 4 demon kings had not set a rule that prohibited fighting in Demon City, they would have already done so. There were even people who revealed greedy expressions. Their eyes darted around as they wanted to rush in and rob. Rumble. The powerful aura of the demon kings descended, causing everyone to tremble and become obedient. The old goat returned with the 3 demon kings. "What's all this noise about? Line up and come one by one. Whoever dares to be impudent in High Heaven Pavilion, I will cancel his right to buy." The old goat sneered. The Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King stared coldly at the crowd in front of them. They were surrounded by a murderous aura as if they would kill anyone who dared to make a move. The old goat was shocked by the scene in front of him. He did not expect the demon clan in Demon City to be so crazy. Originally, they were planning to gradually make High Heaven Pavilion popular, so that they could attract more experts from the demon clan. But now, it seemed that the old goat's fire had directly ignited High Heaven Pavilion. The third elder is right. Everyone line up and come one by one. Whoever dares to disrespect the third elder, I will be the first to not let him off. Everyone's heart trembled as they hurriedly said with a smile. After all, there were 3 demon kings in High Heaven Pavilion. Sages and great sages like them were no match for the demon kings. A trace of the demon king's aura was enough to make them tremble in fear. Order was finally restored in High Heaven Pavilion. It seems that we have underestimated these guys' desire for divine weapons and elixirs. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. Isn't this good? With so many treasures of heaven and earth falling into our hands, I feel that our harvest in the Demon City will definitely far surpass that of the elixir rivers of origin. Taoist Wuliang chuckled. The half-saint treasures and divine elixir pills that Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuliang took out were quickly snatched up by the demon clan experts. In the end, Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuliang took out all their half-saint treasures and divine elixir pills, but it was still not enough to satisfy the demon clan experts. However, they were much more interested in the third floor of High Heaven Pavilion. Everyone, the treasures on the third floor of High Heaven Pavilion are definitely supreme treasures, so please leave if you have less than 50 million origin elixir pills. The old goat's eyes revealed a trace of slyness as he smiled slightly. 50 million origin elixir pills. This sky-high price frightened many people. The old goat had made it clear that at least 50 million origin elixir pills worth of heavenly treasures were needed to enter the third floor, but many people did not even have this qualification. In the end, only 4 or 5 rich shops passed the old goat's inspection and entered the third floor of High Heaven Pavilion. On the third floor of High Heaven Pavilion, there were 4 weapons and 2 bottles of elixir pills. The 4 weapons emitted resplendent light and were filled with a faint saintly aura. They looked crystal clear and were extremely extraordinary. They instantly attracted everyone's attention. Everyone's breathing became a little rapid in an instant. Weapons of this level are indeed supreme treasures. Gong Yun of 100 Treasure Pavilion said with a trembling body. Bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 2632. In the eyes of Gong Zhe and the other shopkeepers, these 4 lower-grade holy treasures looked extremely exquisite. The strange patterns and aura of the Great Path made them feel as if they had never seen such precious treasures before. 4 lower-grade holy treasures, 2 long swords, a saber, and an iron hammer. These 4 lower-grade holy treasures had been re-refined by Taoist Wuliang. He had engraved sturdy runes and miniature formations on them. After being infused with saint power, even a holy king would find it difficult to destroy them. These were the real Demon King weapons. After seeing these 4 weapons, Gong Zhe and the other shopkeepers looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with excitement, and they were not willing to give in. They had all decided that no matter what price they had to pay, they had to obtain these 4 treasures. Shopkeepers, don't be anxious. Do you know what elixir this is? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and took the 2 white jade elixir bottles. What elixir is this? Is it more precious than these 4 divine weapons? Gong Zhe asked curiously. The elixir in this bottle is called the Enlightenment Elixir. As the name suggests, after taking it, it can let people enter the enlightenment state. Even a Demon King expert will be affected. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. What? Enlightenment elixir? Gong Zhe and the others suddenly trembled, and their eyes became extremely hot. For the Demon Clan, although their lifespan was long and their bloodline was powerful, it was extremely difficult to comprehend the Great Path Law. They could only rely on countless years of cultivation to slowly break through. Entering the enlightenment state was a realm that all Demon Clan experts dreamed of. For example, the 1,000 Demon Fruit could let people comprehend the Great Path Law. So every year's Demon Conference would attract so many Demon Clan experts. The Enlightenment Elixir in Ling Xiao's hand could let people enter the enlightenment state. Wasn't that comparable to the 1,000 Demon Fruit? This was definitely a priceless treasure. That's right. Although this enlightenment elixir can't let people directly break through to the Demon King realm like the Thousand Demon Fruit, it can let people enter the enlightenment state. The effect is no worse than the Thousand Demon Fruit. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. This enlightenment elixir was an extremely precious divine elixir. Ling Xiao added the leaves of the enlightenment tree to it. It contained the charm of the Great Path, and could indeed let people enter the enlightenment state. For Ling Xiao, this enlightenment elixir was nothing, but for the Demon Clan experts, especially those in the Demon King realm, it was definitely a supreme treasure. Great Elder, what about the other elixir? Gong Yi resisted the urge to immediately bid, and continued to ask. The other type of pill was also placed on the third floor of High Heaven Pavilion. It was likely to be as precious as the Tao comprehending pill. The elixir in this bottle is called the Ancestral Origin Elixir. Ling Xiao said slowly. Ancestral elixir? Gongzhi suddenly thought. Ancestral elixir. Demon elixir IR. Elixir spirit elixir. Elixir. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Them. Ancestral origin elixir. For all the Demon Clan experts, this was simply an unbearable temptation. The foundation of the Demon Clan lay in their bloodline. The stronger their bloodline, the greater their future achievements. If their bloodline could return to its origin, not only would their strength skyrocket, their future potential would be limitless. This was a treasure that was related to the foundation of the Demon Clan. It was even more precious than the Enlightenment elixir. Gongzhi and the other shopkeepers looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Whether it was the 4 holy treasures or the 2 elixirs, they were all irresistible temptations to them. Great Elder, what kind of conditions are needed to exchange for these treasures? Gongzhi asked with a little shortness of breath. He knew that since these 6 treasures were placed on the 3rd floor of the Lingxiao Pavilion, it would be difficult to exchange for them with ordinary heaven and earth treasures like on the 1st and 2nd floor. These 6 heaven and earth treasures are incomparably precious and cost us a lot of effort. So if you want to exchange for these 6 treasures, you must exchange them with heaven and earth treasures that contain the Great Path imprint, such as this black dragon gold. If you have such heaven and earth treasures, you can exchange them for treasures. Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other, and then smiled slightly. This was his real purpose. Using these treasures to exchange for extreme Tao metals that contain the Great Path imprint. He believed that since the Divine Weapon Pavilion had the Dragon Vein Gold, the other shops should also have such extreme Tao metals. Heaven and earth treasures that contain the Great Path imprint. This is too rare. Gongzhi and the other great elders smiled bitterly, as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over them. They had naturally heard that Ling Xiao had purchased the Black Dragon Gold from the Divine Weapon Pavilion yesterday. However, extreme Tao metals like the Black Dragon Gold were indeed very rare. If they could be refined into a Demon King weapon, it would be much more powerful than ordinary Demon King weapons. Although they were all shopkeepers of large shops, heaven and earth treasures that contain the Great Path imprint were also incomparably precious to them. Great Elder, I have a heaven and earth treasure here that should contain the Great Path imprint, but there is not much of it. Can I exchange it for a treasure? Gongzhi suddenly asked. Oh, what kind of treasure is it? Can you let me have a look? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. Originally, he didn't think that these shopkeepers would have any extreme Tao metals in their hands. He just wanted to use their mouths to spread the name of High Heaven Pavilion. The monster kings of the 72 caves should have a lot of good things in their hands. If they were willing to come and trade, that would be High Heaven Pavilion's goal. Ling Xiao didn't expect that Gongzhi would have extreme Tao metals. 100 Treasure Pavilion accidentally obtained this at the edge of Nirvana Ocean. However, it only weighs about 50 kilograms. It looks like some kind of golden sand, but it is very difficult to smelt with the flame of life, so it has always been in the treasury. Gongzhi said slowly, then took out a jade bottle. Let's take a look first. Taoist Wuliang took the jade bottle and opened it. Immediately, a bright golden light gushed out from the mouth of the bottle. Inside the jade bottle were grains of crystal clear sand. They looked like gold, but they were pure and transparent, and emitted a strange light. This is immortal sky crystal sand. It really is an extreme Tao metal, and it weighs more than 50 kilograms. We're rich, we're definitely rich. Taoist Wu Yang's ecstatic voice entered Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness. Immortal sky crystal sand? It's actually such a divine item? Ling Zhao's heart trembled. The immortal sky crystal sand was indeed an extreme Tao metal. It had the property of immortality. Refining an extreme Tao Emperor weapon required the immortal sky crystal sand to make it immortal. Even after hundreds of millions of years, it would still retain its extreme Tao Emperor aura. Bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 2633. 50 kilograms of immortal sky crystal sand did not seem like a lot. However, the amount of immortal sky crystal sand needed to refine an extreme grade Emperor weapon was very little. A few dozen pieces of immortal sky crystal sand could allow an extreme grade Emperor weapon to maintain its immortal attribute. What about 10,000 pieces of immortal sky crystal sand? He had struck it rich. Cough cough. Shopkeeper Gong, this kind of sand does contain the great Tao imprint. It's extremely precious and useful to me. You can choose 2 of these 6 treasures. Ling Xiao coughed lightly and smiled faintly. I can choose 2? Thank you, Great Elder. Thank you, Great Elder. Gong Yi was overjoyed, and his eyes were filled with excitement. He only had 50 kilograms of this golden sand. He thought it would be good enough if he could exchange it for 1 treasure. However, he did not expect to be able to exchange for 2 treasures. He was extremely excited and felt extremely grateful to Ling Xiao. This great elder was really a good person. I want a treasured sword and an ancestral restoration elixir, Gong Yun said without hesitation. Although he also coveted the Tao comprehension elixir, he knew that the ancestral restoration elixir was the most precious. If he could offer this ancestral restoration elixir to the 4 Grand Monster Kings, the benefits he would gain would be unimaginable. Elder Gong, keep these 2 treasures well. Ling Xiao smiled and kept the immortal sky crystal sand. He then handed a divine sword and an ancestral restoration elixir to Gong Yun. Being able to obtain the immortal sky crystal sand was probably the biggest gain of the day. Gong Yun kept the 2 treasures under the envious gazes of the surrounding people. He then turned around and left Ling Xiao Pavilion without hesitation. First Elder, although we don't have any heavenly treasures with great Tao imprints, we do have a lot of top-grade heavenly treasures. It doesn't matter even if we give you a little more. Please make an exception for us. The other shopkeepers were also extremely tempted as they spoke to Ling Xiao. I'm sorry everyone. We spent a lot of effort to refine the treasures on the 3rd floor. We only exchanged for treasures that contain the great Tao imprint. As for the other treasures, you can go to the 1st and 2nd floor to exchange for them tomorrow. Ling Xiao smiled, but his expression was resolute. He understood that the rarer something was, the more valuable it was. Divine weapons could not be put out so many at once. They had to be placed here to attract more people. He still had to rely on these shopkeepers to spread the news of High Heaven Pavilion's treasures, so naturally he couldn't sell all of these treasures. The shopkeepers' eyes were burning with passion, but they were helpless when they saw how determined Ling Xiao was. Shopkeepers, if you find any heavenly treasures that contain the great Tao brand, please come to High Heaven Pavilion to exchange for them. If the shopkeepers have nothing else to do, please leave. Ling Xiao smiled. Don't worry, Grand Elder. We'll return right away to search for the treasures that contain the brands of the Grand Tao. The shopkeepers turned around and left reluctantly. However, there was a very young man who stayed behind. His eyes were filled with hesitation. Shopkeeper Lin, is there anything else? Ling Xiao asked curiously. The young man in front of him was called Lin Fan. He was the shopkeeper of the treasure house. Although he looked very young, his cultivation had reached the great sage realm perfection. He was only 1 step away from entering the Holy King realm. Moreover, Ling Xiao could see that he was very young, and his bloodline was somewhat mixed. To be able to cultivate to this realm, he must have some secrets. Grand Elder, I have something that I want to sell to you. But I want a sacred sword, a Tao comprehension pill, an ancestral restoration pill, and 100 million origin pills. Lin Fan gritted his teeth and stared at Ling Xiao nervously. Oh, what treasure is shopkeeper Lin talking about? Can you show it to me? If it's really precious, I can buy it. Ling Xiao asked curiously. He didn't think that Lin Fan was asking for too much. Since Lin Fan dared to ask for so many things, it could be seen that the thing he had must be extraordinary. At least, Lin Fan thought that it was incomparably precious. Grand Elder, I can see that you are a straightforward person, so I'm willing to exchange it. If I didn't need these treasures urgently, I would never exchange them. You can take a look. Lin Fan saw that Ling Xiao's expression was calm and didn't reveal any ridicule. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief and say slowly, "Buzz." The space between his eyebrows shone brightly. In an instant, a piece of jade in the shape of a crescent moon flew out, emitting a hazy light. It looked crystal clear, as cold and mysterious as the moon. It also contained a mysterious power of the Great Path. It was as if it could let people directly enter the state of path comprehension. As soon as the jade piece appeared, Ling Xiao felt as if the blood in his body was about to boil, and an incomparably strong wave of desire came from his body. This is a fragment of the creation jade disc? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a storm raged in his heart. How could he not recognize that this jade piece was a fragment of the creation jade disc? And it looked huge, as if it was the missing half of the creation jade disc in Ling Xiao's body. Previously, Ling Xiao had gradually collected the fragments of the creation jade disc that he had obtained from the Great Void Emperor, but only half of the creation jade disc was formed. In the end, it had merged with his body. Ling Xiao didn't expect to meet the other half of the creation jade disc on this endless island. Shopkeeper Lin, what is this? Can you introduce it to me? Ling Xiao's expression was still incomparably calm, as if there were no waves as he asked faintly. Lin Fan had also been paying attention to Ling Xiao's expression. Seeing that Ling Xiao didn't seem to notice anything, he was slightly disappointed. This is a treasure that I obtained by accident. I call it the Dao Jade. In fact, I don't know what the use of this treasure is, but with the Dao Jade, my cultivation can advance by leaps and bounds, and constantly break through to the current realm. I vaguely feel that the Dao Jade is not complete. Perhaps only by finding the complete Dao Jade can I unlock the true secret of the Dao Jade. Lin Fan said slowly. The Dao Jade? Since this treasure is so important to shopkeeper Lin, why would shopkeeper Lin sell it to me? Perhaps with the Dao Jade, shopkeeper Lin can quickly break through to the Saint King realm. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he smiled slightly. Because I can't wait. Since my cultivation reached the Great Sage Perfection realm, the Dao Jade's effect on me has been minimal, so I want to sell it to Great Elder. If Great Elder is willing, then let's trade. If not, then forget it. Lin Fan gritted his teeth and said hesitantly, "This Lin Fan, I'm afraid he is also a person with a story." Ling Xiao's heart moved. He could see the anger, pain, murderous intent, and other complex expressions in Lin Fan's eyes, and he secretly guessed. Perhaps there was some hidden reason that made him decide to sell the Dao Jade in order to obtain sufficient cultivation resources from Ling Xiao. Okay, the Dao Jade is mine, and these are yours. Ling Xiao said faintly. He directly grabbed the Dao Jade in his hand, and then with a wave of his sleeve, a sacred sword, a Dao comprehension pill, an ancestral returning pill, and 100 million origin pills flew towards Lin Fan. After Lin Fan kept these treasures, he severed his connection with the Dao Jade. But for some reason, the moment he severed his connection with the Dao Jade, he felt a sharp pain in his heart. It was as though he had lost the most precious thing in his life. But Lin Fan didn't think much about it. A cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He silently cupped his hands towards Ling Xiao, then turned and left High Heaven Pavilion. Chapter 2634. The Creation Jade Disc is in my hands. Ling Xiao's body jerked as his eyes shone with an uncontrollable excitement. The 10 utmost chaos treasures were unparalleled treasures that were formed at the beginning of chaos and the evolution of the universe. Each and every one of them possessed an unparalleled amount of power, stealing the fortunes of the heaven and earth, and evolving the laws of the great Tao of the heavens. Anyone who could obtain an utmost chaos treasure would possess a great fortune and fortune. They could be called the son of fortune. For Ling Xiao to be able to come this far, and even live for 2 lifetimes, the wordless heavenly book's effects were immeasurable. Back then, the Emperor Taishu had relied on this utmost chaos treasure, the creation jade disc, to fight against the unparalleled emperor with his cultivation state of a mortal emperor state. That was how heaven-defying utmost chaos treasures were. However, Ling Xiao had only obtained a fragment of the creation jade disc previously. Therefore, he did not know what a complete creation jade disc could do. But today, after obtaining the fragment of the creation jade disc from Lin Fan, Ling Xiao saw the possibility of a complete creation jade disc. Wu Liang, I'll leave Ling Xiao sect to you. I'm going into seclusion for a couple of days. Ling Xiao tossed these words to Taoist Wu Liang before returning to the Demon King's residence. Sitting down in a lotus position within the Demon King's residence, Ling Xiao laid down a couple of layers of powerful defensive seals before taking out the fragment of the creation jade disc. Lin Fan's creation jade disc fragment looked just like a crescent moon. It was sparkling and translucent, pure and flawless. It contained a mysterious ripple within it. A single look at it, and one would be able to sense some sort of law of the great Tao. Ling Xiao's body was filled with an incomparably strong desire. It was as though a beggar who had been starving for days had finally seen food. He could not wait to devour the fragment of the creation jade disc. Xing. The moment Ling Xiao let go of the suppression on his physical body, his entire body shone with a bedazzling light. The fragment of the creation jade disc in his hands began to buzz and vibrate, as though it was extremely excited. Boom. Instantly, the void vibrated as a series of mysterious laws of the great Tao shot out from the void and intertwined with the fragment of the creation jade disc, causing it to shine with a bedazzling brilliance. If Ling Xiao had not set up a formation to isolate the void, such a commotion would have alarmed the entire myriad demon city. The fragment of the good fortune jade plate seemed to come alive. It flowed with mysterious light and intertwined with the great Tao. At the same time, endless light gathered in Ling Xiao's body. The fragment of the good fortune jade plate that had already fused with Ling Xiao appeared. The 2 pieces of the jade plate of good fortune slowly merged into one. In an instant, a bright light burst out like a bright sun. It seemed to be the source of the great path, emitting a mysterious aura of the 3,000 great paths. The good fortune jade disc flew towards Ling Xiao's heart and slowly merged with it. In an instant, Ling Xiao's heart began to beat violently. Vaguely, a chaotic aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. He seemed to have seen the beginning of the chaos, the evolution of the 3,000 grand Taos, and they established the cornerstone of a universe. They evolved into grand Tao laws that regulated the operation of the myriad of worlds in the universe and the cycle of life, death, and reincarnation of all living beings. The good fortune jade disc contained 3,000 great Taos. The cultivation of an expert was a process of constantly understanding nature and understanding the grand Tao laws. The stronger one's cultivation, the deeper one's understanding of the grand Tao laws, and the more one could control the power of the grand Tao laws. However, if one wanted to completely understand the 3,000 great Taos, even a supreme emperor would find it difficult to do so. Although Ling Xiao's talent was extraordinary, and he had cultivated many secret techniques recorded in the wordless heavenly book, he still seemed to be separated by a layer of fog in the face of the vast grand Tao laws. However, the good fortune jade disc was like a mirror that clearly reflected the 3,000 great Taos. It allowed Ling Xiao to be in a state of enlightenment all the time, and to comprehend the grand Tao laws. The function of the good fortune jade disc was very simple. It allowed one to comprehend the 3,000 great Taos, and control the power of the 3,000 great Taos. After the good fortune jade disc fused with Ling Xiao's heart, Ling Xiao suddenly felt that the grand Tao laws were very clear. The speed at which he comprehended the grand Tao laws had increased by hundreds, or even thousands of times. In Ling Xiao's spirit sea, the saintly way origin root floated in the chaotic void. It looked ethereal and mysterious, as if it was absorbing the surrounding energy and gradually growing stronger. Ling Xiao could clearly see that his saintly way origin root was rooted in the chaotic void. Mysterious threads floated, containing mysterious energy waves. The Saintly Way origin root was the foundation of Ling Xiao's great Tao, and it contained all the grand Tao laws that Ling Xiao had comprehended. Ling Xiao could see that there were dozens of crystal-clear buds growing on his Saintly Way origin root. There were blazing flames, domineering lightning, mysterious time, thick earth flowing water, gentle wind, cold ice. Those mysterious grand Tao laws seemed to be about to grow, and they appeared on his Saintly Way origin root. Once the Saintly Way origin root became a tree, those buds would be branches and leaves, and they would support a vast world. At that time, the Saintly Way tree would appear, and Ling Xiao would break through to the sage ruler realm. Are these the grand Tao laws that I have comprehended? Time, devour, yin-yang, 5 elements, lightning, flame. There was a strange look in Ling Xiao's eyes. He could see that his Saintly Way origin root flickered with 4 colors, and they respectively emitted the aura of chaos, destiny, karma, and reincarnation. These 4 supreme laws formed the foundation of his Saintly Way origin root. The buds on the Saintly Way origin root were the grand Tao laws that Ling Xiao had comprehended. He did not expect that he had already comprehended dozens of grand Tao laws. However, among them, Ling Xiao's time law and devour law had already reached the great accomplishment realm. The other laws varied in strength. Under the creation jade disk's manifestation, all the grand Tao laws that Ling Xiao had comprehended appeared clearly before him. The creation jade disk can actually allow me to comprehend 3,000 grand Tao laws. Ling Xiao's body shook. He could feel that as the creation jade disk merged with his heart, the speed at which he comprehended the grand Tao laws was extremely fast. His Saintly Way origin root was also growing rapidly, and the dozens of buds were also rapidly maturing. There were even more buds of laws appearing continuously. Could it be that with the support of the creation jade disk, my Saintly Way origin root can gather 3,000 grand Tao laws? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Breaking through from the great saint realm to the sage ruler realm was the process of the Saintly Way origin root in one's body growing to the maximum and transforming into a Saintly Way tree. Many experts would try their best to comprehend as many grand Tao laws as possible before reaching the sage ruler realm, so that their Saintly Way origin root could accumulate a deeper foundation. Only in this way would the Saintly Way origin root be able to obtain more power in the process of transforming into a Saintly Way tree. Bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 2635. However, Ling Xiao had never heard of anyone who was able to condense 3,000 Great Path nomological laws with the Sage Path origin root at the Great Saint stage. This was simply impossible. I've only been cultivating for a short period of time. Even though I've managed to condense a few dozen Great Tao laws by chance, I'm still a far cry from those geniuses who have cultivated for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years. When they were Saint Kings, they had at least condensed hundreds of Great Tao laws. However, with the creation jade disk, I might be able to carve out an unprecedented path. Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were dazzling and contained a strong sense of confidence. The creation jade disk had an unimaginable effect on him now. It was no wonder Lin Fan could break through to the Great Saint stage in such a short time with only the fragment of the creation jade disk, and with such a mixed bloodline. Ling Xiao also faintly guessed that perhaps it was because the good fortune jade disk was not complete enough that Lin Fan's cultivation base could not take the last step to transform into the holy tree and become the king of holy path after reaching the great sage realm perfection. However, this also benefited Ling Xiao. If the creation jade disk allowed Lin Fan to break through to the Saint King stage, Lin Fan would never exchange the fragment of the creation jade disk with Ling Xiao. Rumble. Although the wordless heavenly book and the jade disk of good fortune had fused with Ling Xiao's body, Ling Xiao found that they fused in different places. The wordless heavenly book had merged with Ling Xiao's head. Ling Xiao's sea of knowledge, head, and eyes had all undergone some kind of evolution, allowing him to see some kind of change in the unseen world. The creation jade disk had merged with Ling Xiao's heart and provided Ling Xiao with an endless amount of energy, allowing Ling Xiao to comprehend the Great Tao laws thousands of times faster. Ling Xiao realized that there were more and more law sprouts on his Saint Tao root, and his comprehension of the Great Tao laws was getting deeper and deeper. It wouldn't be long before his Saint Dao root would be able to condense the laws of the 3,000 Grand Daos, and he would attain a supreme realm that was unprecedented in history. Ling Xiao went into seclusion in the Demon King's residence for 3 days and 3 nights. After 3 days and 3 nights, Ling Xiao pushed open the door and slowly walked out. His cultivation was still at the Great Sage Perfection realm, and there seemed to be no change. However, his entire person seemed to have become somewhat different. He was indifferent and ethereal. If one closed their eyes, they would be able to sense that Ling Xiao had become one with the heavens and the earth, fusing with the Great Path and becoming a part of the Great Path. Ling Xiao seemed to be in a Tao comprehending realm at all times. Brother Ling Tian, you've finally come out. Hurry up and go to High Heaven Pavilion. That bastard Bai Feng has come to cause trouble for us. The black bear spirit cried out in surprise and anger. Ling Xiao saw that the black bear spirit was guarding outside his room. What's the situation? Ling Xiao's eyes darkened. In the morning, when you were still cultivating in seclusion, Crown Prince Bai Feng brought the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King to block the entrance of High Heaven Pavilion, not allowing anyone to enter and forcing the people of High Heaven Pavilion to come out and apologize. My big brothers, the Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King, wanted to force their way out but were injured by the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King. All of them were captured by Crown Prince Bai Feng. I also ran fast. That's why I waited here for you to come out. Our High Heaven Pavilion has now become the biggest joke in the entire Demon City. That bastard Bai Feng is too despicable. He does whatever he wants just because his father is the White Dragon King. He deserves to die. The Black Bear Spirit recounted the incident angrily. Crown Prince Bai Feng? He dares to make a move in the Demon City? Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. He did not expect that even the Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King would be injured and captured alive. That Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King were so powerful? Bai Feng indeed didn't dare to make a move in the Demon City. After all, this is the rule set by the 4 great Demon Kings at the same time. However, just because they can't make a move doesn't mean they can't fight back. My big brothers attacked in anger and were caught by the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King, so they were injured. However, devouring heaven and piercing heaven were not injured. The Black Bear Spirit said angrily. Who are the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King? Ling Xiao asked. Hearing that the old goat and Taoist Wu Liang were not injured, he heaved a sigh of relief. The Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King are ranked in the top 10 among the 72 Demon Kings. The Black Tiger King is ranked 9th while the 8 Extremities King is ranked 3rd. My big brothers are no match for the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King. The Black Bear Spirit said. Very good. I want to see how strong the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King are. Bai Feng is courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he rushed towards the High Heaven Pavilion. Brother Ling Tian, wait for me. When the Black Bear Spirit saw Ling Xiao disappear in an instant, he shouted and chased after him hurriedly. Outside the High Heaven Pavilion, the Crown Prince of Bai Feng was sitting on a huge white jade chair. He looked lazy and comfortable. Beside him were 2 beautiful women who were feeding him spirit fruits. The Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King were all bruised and swollen. They were tied up by thick chains and knelt in front of the Crown Prince of Bai Feng. Their eyes were filled with anger and unwillingness. 2 figures as tall as hills stood in front of the High Heaven Pavilion. Their auras were powerful and terrifying. Their eyes were filled with indifference. One of them was a burly man dressed in animal skin. His muscles were bulging and his blood was boiling. His whole body was filled with a black evil spirit. His eyes were filled with a cruel and overbearing look. The other was a young man in a Taoist robe. He had long purple hair and a devilishly handsome face. There seemed to be a mysterious light flickering in his eyes. Ripples appeared in the space around him. The 2 of them stood in front of the High Heaven Pavilion. No one dared to get close to the High Heaven Pavilion. The High Heaven Pavilion is finished. They dared to offend the Crown Prince of Bai Feng. I'm afraid they won't be able to bear the consequences. The Crown Prince of Bai Feng even brought the Black Tiger King and the 8 Pole King. They are the two most powerful demon kings under the White Dragon King. They are extremely powerful. Killing ordinary demon kings is as easy as pie. Isn't that right? Didn't you see that the Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King were injured by the two demon kings? But why is the Crown Prince of Baifeng blocking the door? He might as well just kill his way in. Private fights are not allowed in the Demon City. This is the rule set by the four demon kings. The Crown Prince of Baifeng doesn't dare to violate it. However, I think the Crown Prince of Baifeng has his eyes on the treasures in the High Heaven Pavilion. He's forcing the High Heaven Pavilion to compromise. Chapter 2636. Outside High Heaven Pavilion, there were many monster race masters who had gathered to watch the fun, each of them looking as if they didn't mind the drama. People of the High Heaven Pavilion, listen up. You have offended the Crown Prince, and this is an unforgivable crime. If you know what's good for you, you'd better kneel in front of the Crown Prince and admit your sins. Then hand over all the treasures of the High Heaven Pavilion. Otherwise the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King will all die. Do you really want to watch them die in front of the High Heaven Pavilion? The Black Tiger King said with a deep gaze. The Crown Prince of Baifeng's expression was also cold, and a trace of burning greed flashed in his eyes. Naturally, it was because Ling Xiao had thrown him out of the Divine Weapon Pavilion 3 days ago, so he was filled with hatred. When the Black Tiger King and the Eight Extremities King finally returned to the Demon City, he immediately brought the two of them over to find trouble with Ling Xiao. However, the High Heaven Pavilion had become popular in the Demon City in the past 3 days. The treasures in the High Heaven Pavilion were especially coveted by all the Demon Clan experts. The Crown Prince of Baifeng naturally saw the treasures in the High Heaven Pavilion, and was instantly filled with greed. He had ordered the Black Tiger King and the Eight Pole King to block the entrance of High Heaven Pavilion, not only because private fights were prohibited in Demon City, but also because he wanted to vent the anger in his heart and wait for High Heaven Pavilion to appear. The treasures in the High Heaven Pavilion must be in the hands of the Crown Prince of Baifeng. The Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King kneeled in front of the Crown Prince of Baifeng. Their faces were all bruised and swollen, and the anger in their eyes was about to spew out. Eight Pole King, that old fox, is too shameless. This king will find a chance to kill this bastard. The Golden Lion King was so angry that he was stamping with rage. The three of them were actually ambushed by the Eight Pole King. The Eight Pole King's innate ability was the space prison, which could seal space and imprison living beings. Previously, the Crown Prince of Baifeng brought the Black Tiger King and the Eight Pole King to cause trouble. The three of them had just rushed out of the High Heaven Pavilion when they were ambushed by the Eight Pole King. The space prison was used to imprison them. At the same time, the Black Tiger King punched and kicked them and captured the three of them. Not only did they not use their innate abilities, but they also didn't use the treasures given to them by Ling Xiao. Furthermore, the three sacred treasures had become Prince White Maple's spoils of war, and were taken away. It was too humiliating. Although private fights were prohibited in the Demon City, the three of them were captured in an instant. They did not make any noise at all, nor were they noticed by others. It was an incomparably tragic situation for them to be reduced to prisoners. Crown Prince of Baifeng? He was just a vile person who used his power to bully others. You if you dare. The old Heaven Pavilion? The old goat stood on the 3rd floor of the High Heaven Pavilion, and sneered condescendingly. His heart was also burning with rage. If not for Daoist Wuyang's constant persuasion, he would have charged down and killed the Black Tiger King, the Eight Extremities King, and Prince White Maple. These bastards were too despicable. The High Heaven Pavilion was blocked for a day. How many origin pills did they lose? The old goat's heart ached just thinking about it. Old goat, don't bother with them. They don't dare to attack. After all, this is the Demon City. If they really dare to attack, then we'll just kill these bastards. At most, we'll just escape from the Demon City. Daoist Wuyang smiled faintly. I don't know when Ling Xiao will come out of seclusion. Are we just going to let them block the door? If the Golden Lion King, Heavenly Wolf King, and Black Panther King are killed by them, where will I put my face? The old goat said angrily. Don't worry. It's precisely because they don't dare to attack the high heaven pavilion that they're using this method. They just want to annoy us. However, I can sense that the Black Tiger King is one thing, but that 8 Extremities King is unfathomable. We are definitely not his match. Taoist Wuliang looked at the demonic young man below with a hint of seriousness in his eyes. The Black Tiger King was very strong. He should be stronger than the Golden Lion King, and the other 2 by a small realm. However, the 8-Pole King gave Taoist Wuliang an incomparably dangerous feeling. Although the Endless Sea Island looked like a remote place, it did not rule out the possibility of terrifying experts. Ling Xiao came out of seclusion? Hee, this is going to be a good show. The old goat's face was originally filled with anger, but his anger instantly turned into joy and he laughed. Outside the High Heaven Pavilion, the Crown Prince of Baifeng said indifferently, I didn't expect that the so-called High Heaven Pavilion would not save its own brothers. How disappointing. Since you don't want to save them, then I can only kill them. Buzz. The Crown Prince of Baifeng's palm shone brightly, and a purple saber appeared. It looked crystal clear, like a treasure, and instantly caused a commotion among the crowd. It was the purple sun saber of the Golden Lion King. The Crown Prince of Baifeng held the purple sun saber, and the blade fell on the Golden Lion King's neck. Teaskating. What a treasure! I'll use your treasure to kill you. I'm sure you can rest in peace. The Crown Prince of Baifeng said with a faint smile. There was a hint of cruelty in his eyes. Baifeng, fuck your mother. The Golden Lion King was so angry that he roared. There was a hint of despair in his eyes. Was he really going to die in the hands of the Crown Prince of Baifeng? You're courting death. The Crown Prince of Baifeng's eyes revealed a murderous glint. He instantly wanted to kill the Golden Lion King. No matter what, he had to use the Golden Lion King to establish his prestige. Boom. However, at that moment, the purple sun saber in the Crown Prince of Baifeng's hand suddenly shone brightly. It seemed to have completely gone berserk. It broke free from the Crown Prince of Baifeng's control, and slashed at the chains on the Golden Lion King's body. There was a terrifying explosion of light, and the chains broke. Baifeng, do you want to die? A cold and indifferent voice rang out from the dazzling divine light that filled the sky. Whoosh. The Crown Prince of Baifeng only felt the sound of something breaking through the air. He was shocked and angry, and without thinking he punched out. However, his fist seemed to be clamped by an iron clamp, and he couldn't move it. His vision blurred, and Ling Xiao appeared in front of him in an instant. He was only a meter away from the Crown Prince of Baifeng. Baifeng could even feel Ling Xiao's sharp gaze, and he subconsciously wanted to avoid it. How dare you? Who are you? How dare you sneak attack my Crown Prince? The Black Tiger King saw Ling Xiao appear in front of the Crown Prince of Baifeng, and was instantly enraged. His blood and qi surged violently, and his murderous aura condensed into the shape of a huge black tiger. Then it let out a furious roar and pounced on Ling Xiao. Roar. The tiger's roar shook the void, and the surrounding people felt their blood and qi surging. Their faces turned pale, and they couldn't help but retreat. What a terrifying Black Tiger King. Chapter 2637. Scram. Ling Xiao said coldly. He did not even look at the Black Tiger King as he threw out a punch. Roar. A dragon's roar reverberated in the air as it emitted a majestic dragon's aura. The Black Tiger King only felt as if a golden divine dragon was charging toward him. His eyes were filled with a cold and majestic gleam, which turned into a blazing fist imprint that bloomed like the rising sun. Boom. The huge black tiger condensed by the Black Tiger King was actually shattered. The two huge fists collided. The Black Tiger King felt an unstoppable divine power coming at him, causing his expression to change. His entire body flew backwards as if he was riding on the clouds. Bang! The Black Tiger King's body crashed into the street in the distance. The hard blue stone on the ground shattered as a human-shaped crater appeared. What? The surrounding people were all shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Is this the mysterious Grand Elder of the High Heaven Pavilion? He's only at the Eminent Saint stage. How did he send the Black Tiger King flying with just a punch? Someone exclaimed in surprise. The Black Tiger King is ranked 9th among the demon kings of the 72 caves. However, he possesses the bloodline of an ancient divine beast. His strength is unparalleled. In terms of physical strength, he's ranked 3rd. Who is this person? How does he have such a freakish physical body? Everyone was in disbelief as they looked at Ling Xiao in awe, trying to guess his identity. The Black Tiger King represented invincibility and strength in their hearts. However, they did not expect Ling Xiao to send the Black Tiger King flying with just a punch. Damn it! How can he be so strong? Crown Prince Baifeng's eyes were filled with shock as he thought to himself. His expression was unsightly. Crack! Ling Xiao did not even look at the Black Tiger King as he slashed down with his palm. The blazing light shattered the chains on the Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King. 3 majestic origin energies surged into their bodies, causing their auras to become stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. Brother Ling Tian, you've finally come out of closed-door cultivation. Crown Prince Baifeng is really going too far. The Golden Lion King's eyes were filled with excitement. At the same time, he glared at Crown Prince Baifeng. While Crown Prince Baifeng was in a daze, Ling Xiao saved the 3 demon kings. He was shocked and angry, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Ling Tian, you're finally here. Baifeng's Crown Prince glared at Ling Xiao. The 8 Extremities King and the Black Tiger King stood vigilantly around the Baifeng Crown Prince. They stared at Ling Xiao with sharp eyes. Whether it was the 8 Extremities King or the Black Tiger King, they no longer regarded Ling Xiao as an ordinary great sage at this moment. Each of them acted as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Baifeng, do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. These spoiled brats who relied on their family backgrounds loved to cause trouble and annoyed Ling Xiao. If not for the myriad demon meat, he would have killed the Crown Prince of Baifeng long ago. Kill me? Are you talking in your sleep? Ling Tian, I don't care who you are. But this is the myriad demon city. You're a dragon who has to coil up and a tiger who has to lie down. If you offend me, there will be no place for you in the entire myriad demon city. Baifeng's eyes were cold as he sneered. Is that so? I really want to try. How are you going to make me have no place in the myriad demon city? Ling Xiao said coldly. Ling Tian, you really don't know what's good for you. Could it be that you think that the demon city's rules forbidding private fights would be able to protect your life? Do you have the guts to make a bet with me? Baifeng sneered. There was a trace of madness in his eyes. What are we betting on? Ling Xiao's eyes were still indifferent. Life and death arena. We'll bet on our lives. He's the 8 Extremities King. You and he will fight in the life and death arena. If you win, I won't cause you any trouble in the future. But if you lose, not only will you die, but your high heaven pavilion will also belong to me. Do you dare to bet? Baifeng said coldly. Although private fights were prohibited in the myriad demon city, there was a life and death arena. It was specially set up for those demon clan experts who had a grudge against each other. Private fights were prohibited, but they could fight in the life and death arena. In the life and death arena, victory and defeat were determined. After one side died in battle, the grudges were naturally settled. Are you interested in my high heaven pavilion? You can bet with your life, but your bet is too small. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of ridicule. Although Crown Prince Baifeng looked ruthless and crazy, he never dared to bet in person. Even if he bet with his life, he would let others do it for him. Ling Xiao also understood that High Heaven Pavilion's popularity in the past few days had made Crown Prince Baifeng extremely jealous. He took the Black Tiger King and the 8 Extremities King to block the entrance of High Heaven Pavilion. In addition to seeking revenge on Ling Xiao, more importantly, he wanted the treasures in High Heaven Pavilion. You don't dare to fight in the life and death arena? Crown Prince Baifeng sneered and provoked him with words. It's not about whether I dare or not. I have no problem fighting in the life and death arena. But if I win, I want the string of beads in your hand. Ling Xiao said indifferently. There was a string of crystal beads on Crown Prince Baifeng's wrist. There were a total of 36 crystal beads. Each of them looked crystal clear and bright. There seemed to be a mysterious liquid flowing in them. and they were enshrouded in a chaotic mist. They were very extraordinary. You want my Dinghai pearls? Sure, if you win, the Dinghai pearls are yours. Bai Feng's eyes showed a trace of ridicule. The Dinghai pearls in his hand were extremely precious. The 36 Dinghai pearls were given to him by his father, the White Dragon King. They were treasures that the White Dragon King obtained from an ancient relic. They could help him cultivate. Otherwise, he would not have become a holy king so quickly. But he did not think that he would lose. The 8 Extremities King's strength was far beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Although the 8 Extremities King ranked third among the demon kings of the 72 caves, the White Dragon King said that the 8 Extremities King's real combat strength was ranked first. He could be said to be the strongest person below the 4 Grand Demon Kings. In that case, let's fight in the life and death arena. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He looked very calm. His gaze fell on the 8 Extremities King. He could feel that the demonic young man in front of him was not simple. The demonic eyes seemed to contain endless time and space. They could drag people into it, and make them unable to reincarnate forever. The 8 Extremities King also looked at Ling Xiao. There was a trace of strong fighting spirit in his eyes. Originally, the 8 Extremities King did not take Ling Xiao seriously. But after Ling Xiao sent the Black Tiger King flying with a punch, the 8 Extremities King became interested. Chapter 2638. Ling Xiao, that bastard Bai Feng is not a good person. You should take his life as the stake. The old goat ran out of the high heaven pavilion and complained. He was never worried that Ling Xiao would not be able to defeat the 8-Pole King. He just felt that the stake Ling Xiao asked for was too light. It would be better if Bai Feng paid with his life. The Myriad Demon Conference hasn't started yet. The Myriad Demon Fruit is good stuff. Don't you want it? If we kill Bai Feng now, we can only leave the Myriad Demon City. Don't worry, he won't live long. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. That's right. Old goat, you're brainless. The Myriad Demon Fruit is said to be a treasure that can help people break through to the Saint King realm. Don't you want it? By the way, Ling Xiao, what is that string of beads? Daoist Wuliang seized the opportunity to ridicule old goat, and then asked curiously, what about you? Hee, that string of beads is good stuff. Can't you see it? Ling Xiao chuckled and kept him in suspense. Taoist Wuliang carefully looked at the string of sea-calming beads on Bai Feng's wrist. He could not help but tremble when he saw the dense chaotic qi and the mysterious liquid in the beads. Could it be? Ling Xiao nodded and said, if I'm not mistaken, it should be that kind of thing. Ling Xiao, you must take that string of beads. We're rich. This time, we're really rich. Taoist Wuliang was excited. His eyes were like a hungry wolf. It was as if he could not help but want to rush up and take the string of beads. Brother Ling Tian, you have to be careful. The 8-Pole King's strength is unfathomable. His innate ability is related to space. The 3 of us can't resist him at all. The Golden Lion King said worriedly. Don't worry. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Soon everyone arrived at the Arena of Life and Death. The Arena of Life and Death was located in the central area of the Myriad Demon City. It was not far from the Myriad Demon Ancient Tree. It was an ancient stone platform. It was said that the 4 great demon kings dug it out from the ancient ruins. It was extremely old and sturdy. The entire life and death arena was covered in a gray and hazy chaotic color. It looked mottled and ancient. There were black chains around it, and it was suffused with an immortal fluctuation. Although from the outside, the life and death arena only had a circumference of 300 meters, the life and death arena contained a formation space that was comparable to a small world. It was enough to accommodate many people in a life and death battle at the same time. The life and death duel between Bai Feng and Ling Xiao immediately attracted a lot of people and caused an uproar. High Heaven Pavilion's first elder and Bai Feng's crown prince have a life and death gambling match? Has he gone mad? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with disbelief. Isn't that so? Prince Bai Feng has sent the 8 Extremities King, who is ranked third among the monster kings of the 72 caves. He is proficient in the law of space and is extremely powerful. He is one of the strongest monster kings. That Ling Tian looks like he's only at the eminent saint stage. Isn't he courting death? It's hard to say. Ling Tian's true strength is very powerful. Some people say that Prince Baifeng was thrown out of the divine weapon pavilion by him. Even the Black Tiger King was sent flying by his punch. His physical body is very strong. When Ling Tian attacked, there was a dragon's roar. Maybe he has the blood of the dragon clan in his body. That's why he has such a freakish physical body. No matter what, I still think the Eight Extremities King is going to win. This battle is going to be interesting. Hee, I didn't expect that someone would dare to find trouble with Prince Baifeng. Those who dared to offend Prince Baifeng are all dead. This Ling Tian is really bold. It's a pity that those who are bold die quickly. Many monster clan powerhouses gathered around the life and death arena. Everyone was attracted by the life and death duel between Prince Baifeng and Ling Xiao. There were even a few Demon King experts who had curious looks in their eyes. However, most people did not think Ling Xiao would win. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ling Xiao and the Eight Extremities King leaped into the air and flew into the life and death arena. After entering the arena of life and death, Ling Xiao realized that he was in a gray space. The surroundings were filled with chaotic fog. Only the huge arena under his feet floated in the void, spreading out in all directions. It looked incomparably huge. The Eight Extremities King stood opposite Ling Xiao. The Eight Extremities King was a demonic young man with long purple hair. There seemed to be a mysterious spatial vortex in his eyes that could swallow everything. A strange fluctuation was emitted from his body. Ling Xiao could not see what the Eight Extremities King's true form was. Ling Tian, your physical body is indeed very strong. I didn't expect that even the Black Tiger King could not withstand a punch from you. However, you are not my opponent. If you admit defeat now, I can plead with His Highness and ask him to spare your life. The Eight Extremities King said indifferently. His voice was ethereal and soft, like a woman's voice. Eight Extremities King, right? How about this? If I win this battle, you will become my follower, and I will not kill you. How about that? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. The Eight Extremities King gave him a very strange feeling, especially the aura of the Eight Extremities King, which gave him a very familiar feeling. Arrogant. Let's talk about it after you defeat me first. The Eight Extremities King's eyes darkened, and he suddenly slapped his palm toward Ling Xiao. Boom. The moment the Eight Extremities King attacked, the demonic aura around him surged. It was as if an ancient demonic emperor had awakened from a deep slumber, emitting an invincible and powerful energy fluctuation. The huge palm print was like an earth-shattering canopy, pressing down on Ling Xiao. Good. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he directly punched out at the Eight Extremities King. Ever since Ling Xiao integrated with the complete good fortune jade disc, he felt his physical body becoming stronger and stronger. As he continued to comprehend the Great Tao, his primordial immortal body seemed to be able to encompass all things, and there was no limit to its improvement. He also liked the feeling of punching flesh. The strength of his physical body was the foundation of his strength. Ling Xiao's comprehension of the Great Tao was different from others. Others borrowed the power of the Great Tao of heaven and earth, or controlled the power of the Great Tao. However, Ling Xiao devoured and integrated the power of the Great Tao. In Ling Xiao's opinion, all external objects were just external objects, and only the strength of one's own body was the foundation of his strength. Even if there were 3,000 Great Taos, they would only belong to him if they were integrated into his body. Therefore, this punch contained the strength of Ling Xiao's powerful physical body, and it contained the Great Tao that could suppress all things. It was majestic and mysterious, like the hand of a great emperor that controlled the life and death of all things. It was extremely powerful. Boom. The Eight Extremities King's palm print collapsed with a loud bang, and Ling Xiao's punch continued to press down on the Eight Extremities King. Eight Extremities King, you are no match for me in terms of physical strength alone. Let me see how strong your innate ability is. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Chapter 2639. As you wish. The Baji King's eyes flickered as he faced Ling Xiao's punch. His feet moved slightly, and a mysterious spatial fluctuation spread out. Beams of dazzling divine light shot out from the surrounding void and shrouded Ling Xiao. Although the Eight-Pole King was still in front of Ling Xiao, he gave Ling Xiao a strange feeling. It was as if the two of them were separated by billions of miles of space. So close, yet worlds apart. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. The Eight-Pole King's attainments in the law of space were indeed very high. Spatial cage. As the incomparably cold voice of the Eight Extremities King sounded, the resplendent rays of light around Ling Xiao seemed to directly separate the void, forming an ancient and mysterious prison that imprisoned Ling Xiao within. The surrounding space seemed to have solidified instantly, spreading towards Ling Xiao's body. The vast law of space surged, turning into a mysterious and powerful force that wanted to imprison Ling Xiao. What a powerful innate ability! Ling Xiao exclaimed. He felt that his movements had become incomparably slow in an instant, as if he could not break free from the confinement of space. He could only be trampled upon. It was no wonder that the Eight-Pole King's spatial cage could imprison the Golden Lion King, the Celestial Wolf King, and the Black Panther King instantly. This innate ability was indeed very abnormal. Spatial Wind Blade. The Eight-Pole King's cold voice resounded. The void around Ling Xiao shattered like a mirror, turning into numerous black wind blades that whizzed towards Ling Xiao to shroud him. This was a wind blade formed by the shattering of space. It was extremely sharp and seemed capable of destroying everything. Even the physical body of a demon king could not withstand the attack of the spatial wind blade. Moreover, the Eight-Pole King had mobilized thousands of spatial wind blades, sweeping over like a storm, as if he wanted to cut Ling Xiao into 1,000 pieces. It had to be said that the Eight-Pole King's attainments in the law of space were extremely high. The innate ability of a demon clan expert contained the law of Great Path. However, if one wanted to comprehend the law of Great Path contained in the innate ability to the extreme, one had to rely on their own efforts and comprehension. The law of space was one of the most powerful laws, and it was extremely difficult to comprehend it. However, the Eight-Pole King could display such powerful spatial wind blades, which showed that his talent and comprehension of the law of space were extremely shocking. There was a hint of admiration in Ling Xiao's eyes. It turned out that the endless island that the old goat described as a remote and desolate place also had someone as talented as the Eight-Pole King. He wasn't completely useless. You're courting death. A cold glint flashed across the Eight-Pole King's eyes. He hadn't expected Ling Xiao to be so calm, as if he hadn't seen the spatial wind blade at all. The admiration in his eyes made the Eight-Pole King feel insulted. With a thought, the spatial wind blades became even more violent. It was as if there were billions of black blade lights sweeping over, whistling as they tried to cut Ling Xiao into pieces. With the spatial prison and spatial wind blade activated at the same time, Ling Tian will definitely die. Outside the arena of life and death, Crown Prince Baifeng sneered. The Eight Extremities King is completely enraged. Even my physical body can't withstand this level of spatial wind blade. The Black Tiger King also felt his scalp go numb. Although he was watching the battle from outside the life and death arena, he could still feel the terror of the space wind blade. Is the battle going to end so soon? As expected of the Eight Extremities King, it seems that Ling Xiao is going to die. Someone exclaimed in surprise. The same thought appeared in everyone's mind. They felt that this battle was going to end soon. On the High Heaven Pavilion's side, except for the old goat and Taoist Wuliang, who looked calm, the Golden Lion King, Black Bear Spirit, and the others all looked extremely worried and anxious. Why isn't Ling Xiao fighting back? Could it be that the powerful spatial wind blade has made him accept his fate? Rumble. The vast spatial wind blade instantly enveloped Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's expression was extremely calm. There seemed to be purple light flowing around his body, giving him an immortal fluctuation. Clang. 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 The sound of metal hitting stone rang out. Sparks flew everywhere. The powerful spatial wind blade slashed Ling Xiao's body, bursting into bright sparks. The purple divine light around Ling Xiao's body rose, blocking all the spatial wind blades outside. His body didn't suffer any damage. What? This is impossible. The Eight Extremities King's body trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. His spatial wind blade was extremely powerful. Even demon kings would die if they touched it. He had once skinned a demon king expert with a powerful physical body with his spatial wind blade. No demon king dared to resist his spatial wind blade with their physical body. But Ling Xiao did it. Not only did Ling Xiao resist the spatial wind blade, but he was also unscathed. His physical body was extremely strong, as if it was indestructible. The spatial wind blade couldn't hurt him at all. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body trembled. And in an instant, a vast amount of qi and blood rose up. The dragon's roar shook the void all around him. The qi and blood around him surged like a vast river, containing an extremely violent energy fluctuation. The spatial prison that imprisoned Ling Xiao actually trembled violently, and then suddenly collapsed with a loud bang. 8 Extremities King, is this your innate divine power? Unfortunately, it's still too weak. Ling Xiao said indifferently. The surrounding void shattered inch by inch. He walked towards the 8 Extremities King step by step. His body was surrounded by a vast purple qi. A blood-red light rose. His eyes were extremely bright. He was like a supreme emperor, who was patrolling the heavens. He exuded an invincible aura. Ling Tian, you forced me to do this. The 8 Extremities King's eyes were covered with a layer of blood-red light. He became a little crazy. Boom. His aura spread out, and his purplish gold aura rose in an instant, turning into mysterious runes in the void. They became dazzling, as if they were communicating with the great path of heaven and earth and the endless power of space. His aura became more and more terrifying. Spatial annihilation. As the 8 Pole King roared, the surrounding space seemed to shatter with a loud bang. A terrifying aura surged. In an instant it surged and whistled. It formed a vast spatial wave that swept towards Ling Xiao. In the arena of life and death, this mysterious space seemed to have been annihilated. All things in the world, all living things, would be turned into nothingness under the power of this spatial annihilation. This power caused the expressions of all the demon kings outside the arena of life and death to change drastically. Deep fear filled their eyes. This was a power that could kill them in an instant. No one had thought that the 8 Extremities King's innate divine power would have such a terrifying killing move. This time, would Ling Tian be able to survive the annihilation of space? Chapter 2640. Ling Xiao could feel that the law of space around him was extremely violent. A force that could destroy everything erupted like a storm and completely enveloped him. The Baji King's talent in space was beyond Ling Xiao's imagination. He had reached an extremely powerful realm. Even a Saint King would be annihilated along with the annihilation of space by this force. The law of space? Ling Xiao muttered to himself. His heart suddenly bloomed with dazzling light. The good fortune jade disc flowed with mysterious waves and turned into a gorgeous vortex that seemed to be able to devour everything. The annihilation of space around him and the vast law of space were all devoured by the good fortune jade disc, and turned into the comprehension of the law of space that surged into Ling Xiao's body. In an instant, Ling Xiao's comprehension of the law of space began to improve by leaps and bounds. Rumble. The terrifying annihilation of space enveloped Ling Xiao's body, causing his flesh and blood to become blurry. He was dripping with blood and looked extremely terrifying. However, his eyes were incomparably bright as the stars. The good fortune jade disc can actually devour the law of space that others have comprehended and use it for my own use? This is too heaven-defying. Ling Xiao thought to himself. It was as if a storm had set off in his heart. He did not care about the blood all over his body. Although the annihilation of space was strong and his flesh and blood could not withstand it, it could not destroy his imperishable bones. It only caused a flesh wound. With Ling Xiao's endless life origin, this level of injury could be completely healed in the blink of an eye. Ling Xiao's mind was completely immersed in the comprehension of the law of space. With the annihilation of space, the Baji King's comprehension of the law of space was completely exposed to Ling Xiao. It was then stolen by the good fortune jade disc, and became a part of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao could clearly feel that the law of space was like a root on his Saint Path origin route. It was rooted in the endless void and absorbed the power of space. The surrounding space also became incomparably intimate. If Ling Xiao tore the void and used the Great Void Shift, it would be much easier than before. Even his teleportation technique had improved by leaps and bounds. This was especially true for space-time secret techniques, which contained the origins of time and space. Previously, because Ling Xiao had obtained the time of time, he had a very deep understanding of the law of time. However, his progress in the law of space was very slow. Now, his comprehension of the law of space had also skyrocketed. What? The Eight-Pole King shuddered, his face filled with disbelief. When he used the power of spatial annihilation, it was actually a huge burden on his body. It caused his vitality to be greatly damaged, and he had used up more than half of his strength. However, Ling Xiao was actually still alive. He could see that although Ling Xiao's body was covered in blood and flesh, he was not injured to the core. It was only a superficial wound. Most importantly, the Eight-Pole King actually felt an extremely powerful spatial fluctuation from Ling Xiao's body. That was the power of the Space Grand Tao Law. How is this possible? The Eight-Pole King's eyes were filled with fear, and he no longer had his previous calmness and composure. He realized that Ling Xiao's spatial laws were becoming stronger and stronger. It was as if they had suddenly increased in power. He couldn't accept this. This was the powerful strength he was so proud of. How could Ling Xiao comprehend it in an instant? Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and there seemed to be endless spatial fluctuations in his eyes. They looked ethereal and mysterious, as if they could destroy everything. Eight-Pole King, you are indeed very strong. Your talent in the Space Grand Tao Law is the best I have ever seen in my life. If you can take a punch from me, I won't kill you, how about it? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile, a hint of appreciation in his eyes. A punch? Ah, arrogant. I want to see how strong your punch is. The Eight-Pole King laughed in anger. Ling Xiao's appreciative gaze was extremely dazzling to the Eight-Pole King. This kind of contempt and appreciation for the weak made him feel greatly humiliated. Eight-Pole King, your talent is very strong, but unfortunately, your vision is too narrow. A frog at the bottom of a well. No matter how strong you are, you can't see the whole world. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and shook his head. The Eight-Pole King was a monster beast. Being able to cultivate to the Saint King realm in the Endless Islands without any inheritance was not enough to make Ling Xiao sigh in admiration. However, he had such attainments in the Space Grand Tao Law, almost reaching the realm of great accomplishment, which made Ling Xiao quite amazed. With the Eight-Pole King's talent, if he was born in the demon realm, he might have touched the origin of the Space Grand Tao and broken through to the Imperial Emperor realm by now. A frog at the bottom of a well? The Eight-Pole King's eyes were covered with a layer of blood red, and his gaze became a little crazy. Hong Long. Monster chi rose around him, and an incomparably violent aura erupted. Terrifying killing intent locked onto Ling Xiao, as if he would launch a killing blow at Ling Xiao at any time. Ling Xiao's words had thoroughly enraged him. Time is supreme, space is king. Time and space have never existed independently. Take a punch from me, space-time double kill. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and then blasted a punch at the Eight-Pole King. Ethereal time rose from Ling Xiao's body, as if 10,000 years had passed in an instant. At the same time, the space around him changed, as if there were scenes of endless worlds being born and destroyed. Time and space seemed to have formed a perfect balance on Ling Xiao's body. This was the punch evolved from the space-time secret technique after Ling Xiao integrated the Space Grand Tao Law devoured by the Good Fortune Jade Disc. The fusion of the time and space Grand Tao was the space-time double kill. Ling Xiao's punch was like two divine dragons intertwining, stirring up the wind and clouds in all directions, causing the world to change, and the sun and moon to dim. Time seemed to have stopped at this moment. The Eight-Pole King in front of him felt as if he had been stripped out of this world. The space around him was annihilated, and time had disappeared, leaving only eternal loneliness and death. This was the Great Nirvana Fist technique, the power of time and space. Space-time double kill, space-time double kill. The power of time and space is actually so strong. The Eight-Pole King trembled all over, and his eyes revealed a look of horror and excitement. Hong Long. Terrifying demonic light rose around him, and the purple gold chi and blood seemed to be burning. An incomparably terrifying force erupted from his body, turning into a shocking blow that charged toward Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's punch gave him some hope, but it also made him feel the threat of death. The Eight-Pole King did not hesitate to burn the essence and blood in his body to unleash this powerful blow, just to block the space-time double kill. Chapter 2641. Crack. The void shattered like a mirror, and a terrifying divine light swept out in all directions like a huge wave, bursting out with the most dazzling brilliance. Everyone outside the arena of life and death could feel the arena of life and death trembling violently, and the layers of void seemed as if they would completely collapse at any time. What a powerful force! How can this Ling Tian be so strong? Not only was the Baji King's space annihilation unable to kill him, but he actually turned the tables? Someone exclaimed, and his eyes were filled with incomparable shock. The conversation between Ling Xiao and the Baji King was blocked by Ling Xiao, and no one knew what they were talking about. However, Ling Xiao's space-time double kill made them feel a surging killing intent rushing towards them. The Baji King's strongest attack was actually unable to withstand a single blow from Ling Xiao's space-time double kill. It shattered, and with the spread of time and space, it returned to nothingness. Puff. The Baji King's flesh and blood seemed to have completely exploded. An endless blood spurted out as he endured an unimaginable pressure. The Baji King's eyes were filled with excitement, regret and despair. He was excited because he saw the supreme force that erupted from the fusion of time and space, and saw a new direction and path. He was regretful and desperate because he no longer had a chance. He had no way to resist this space-time double kill. Bang! The surging space-time energy that contained endless killing intent spread out, and Ling Xiao's fist stopped at the Baji King's forehead. It did not directly kill the Baji King as expected. "You've lost," Ling Xiao said indifferently, and there seemed to be a gentle wind on his fist that brushed past the Baji King's face. Ling Xiao withdrew his fist, and that majestic pressure that was like a tsunami instantly disappeared without a trace. "I've lost. Why didn't you kill me?" The Baji King's eyes revealed an incomparably complicated look. "There's no reason. I just feel that it's a pity for someone like you, who has such great talent in the law of space, to die like this. Let me give you a piece of advice. Bai Feng and the White Dragon King are just two idiots. Following them will only bring about your own destruction." Ling Xiao smiled indifferently, then turned and left the arena of life and death. Outside the arena of life and death, everyone's faces were filled with awe. Even the Eight Extremities King had been defeated by Ling Xiao. Who else could be a match for Ling Xiao? For great demon monarchs? As far as everyone was concerned, the four greater demon kings would definitely be able to suppress Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the eminent saint realm. If the four greater demon kings were to personally make a move against him, then it would truly be too shameless. On the other hand, Crown Prince Bai Feng's expression became extremely ugly, as if his parents had died. His eyes were filled with disbelief. "Damn it! How can he be so strong?" Crown Prince Bai Feng said through gritted teeth. His handsome face was distorted. "Ah, I knew it. How could these ignorant bumpkins possibly be Ling Xiao's match? However, why would Ling Xiao spare the Baji Wang? I think we should kill this bastard to intimidate everyone." The old goat laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with pride, but at the same time, he was somewhat dissatisfied. The Eight Extremities King and the Black Tiger King had previously captured the Golden Lion King, the Heavenly Wolf King, and the Black Panther King alive. Moreover, they had also blocked the High Heaven Pavilion's entrance for so long. This caused the old goat's heart to be filled with resentment. "I think this brat is up to no good. Who knows, he might be planning something bad." Daoist Wuliang said suspiciously as he looked at Ling Xiao, who had just walked out of the death arena. Brother Ling Tian really defeated the Eight Extremities King? The Golden Lion King and his two brothers' mouths were agape. They were both shocked and overjoyed. It was as though they were in a dream. Although they had long known that Ling Xiao's strength was unparalleled, it seemed like they had still underestimated Ling Xiao's true battle prowess. Outside the arena of life and death, The crowd watched as Ling Xiao walked out of the arena of life and death. It was as if he was the center of the world, exuding an invincible and peerless aura. Everyone was silent, and their eyes were filled with respect. The demon clans respected powerhouses the most. Ling Xiao had used his strength to win everyone's respect. Crown Prince Baifeng, it seems like I've won this bet. I believe you won't go back on your word, right? Ling Xiao walked up to Baifeng and smiled calmly. His smile was clear and bright. At this moment, he looked like an incomparably bright young man. He no longer had that invincible and overbearing appearance from before. However, no one dared to look down on him. Even Crown Prince Baifeng's heart couldn't help but tremble. He couldn't help but feel a sense of fear, which made him extremely angry. I, Crown Prince Baifeng, am naturally a man of my word. From today onwards, our enmity is written off. Crown Prince Baifeng gritted his teeth as he spoke. His eyes were spitting fire. He turned around and wanted to leave. There was no way he could stay any longer. The strange gazes from the surrounding people were filled with mockery. It made him feel extremely humiliated. He swore in his heart that he would definitely take revenge. Crown Prince Baifeng, did you forget to leave something behind? Ling Xiao stopped Crown Prince Baifeng, who was about to leave, and smiled calmly. Ling Xiao's expression became even more unsightly when his gaze landed on Crown Prince Baifeng's wrist. Damn it! He actually forgot about this gamble battle. He was even provoked by Ling Xiao to take out the Dinghai Pearl as a wager. These 36 Dinghai Pearls were great treasures. His heart bled at the thought of them falling into Ling Xiao's hands. Here you go. Crown Prince Baifeng said through gritted teeth. He took off the string of Dinghai Pearls on his wrist and threw it directly to Ling Xiao. Then he walked away quickly without looking back. He was about to go crazy from anger. Not only did Ling Xiao not suffer any losses in this gamble battle, but he also lost a lot of face. He even lost the Dinghai Pearls, which allowed Ling Xiao to be in the limelight. Crown Prince Baifeng could only tell himself that he would leave the Dinghai Pearls with Ling Xiao for now. Sooner or later, he would make Ling Xiao return it with interest. Thank you, Crown Prince Baifeng. Crown Prince Baifeng, come often. Ling Xiao's voice rang out behind Crown Prince Baifeng. Instantly, the crowd roared with laughter again. Come often for what? Was he really going to give Ling Xiao treasures? Counting carefully, the lawless Crown Prince Baifeng had already suffered twice in Ling Xiao's hands. I must kill him. I must kill him. Crown Prince Baifeng's face was distorted as he roared in his heart. His fingernails dug deep into his palms, leaving streaks of fresh blood. Your Highness, where are we going now? The Black Tiger King laughed bitterly. He glanced at the silent Eight-Pole King and felt a little relieved. Fortunately, Crown Prince Baifeng did not ask him to gamble with Ling Xiao. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would lose even more miserably. That guy's cultivation was only at the Great Sage realm. How could he have such abnormal combat strength? Let's go find my father. This time, I want all of them to die. Crown Prince Baifeng roared. His eyes were filled with blood-red murderous intent. He headed directly to the deepest part of Demon City, to the White Dragon King's residence. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile reading website. Chapter 2642. The battle in the arena of life and death soon spread throughout the Demon City. The High Heaven Pavilion became even more popular. Many Demon Clan experts knew that the first elder of the High Heaven Pavilion was not only an alchemy grandmaster, but also an expert with unfathomable strength. Even the Eight Extremities King was defeated by him. Therefore, even the Demon Kings became interested in the High Heaven Pavilion. After seeing the treasures in the High Heaven Pavilion, they did not hesitate to exchange their treasures for weapons or elixirs produced by the High Heaven Pavilion. No one dared to have any ideas about the High Heaven Pavilion anymore. In the past few days, as the riots of the 10,000 Demons Ancient Tree became more frequent, the origin energy in the Demon City became more and more intense. Everyone sensed that the 10,000 Demons fruit was about to ripen. The Demon Conference was about to begin. In the High Heaven Pavilion, Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang looked at the sea calming pearls in front of them. Their eyes were filled with excitement. I didn't expect that Baifeng would have the first yuan heavy water in his hands. He really doesn't know that he has a mountain of treasures. In the end, it all benefited us. Daoist Wuyang's eyes were filled with excitement. The 36 sea calming pearls were as clear as crystals. There was a chaotic mist and a strange liquid flowing in it. It was very mysterious. Daoist Wuyang was finally sure that the liquid in the 36 sea calming pearls was the legendary first yuan heavy water. Legend has it that the first yuan heavy water is the essence of all water. A drop of first yuan heavy water is hundreds of millions of caddies heavy, comparable to an immemorial sacred mountain. It's also a necessary supreme treasure to refine and supreme emperor weapon. I don't know where Baifeng got it. Ling Xiao sighed softly. His eyes were also filled with excitement. He agreed to the bet with Baifeng mainly because of the sea calming pearl on Baifeng's wrist. The sea calming pearl contained the first yuan heavy water. After Ling Xiao obtained the good fortune jade disc, his affinity with the 3,000 great Daos had greatly improved. He had also become extremely sensitive to all kinds of heavenly treasures. The first yuan heavy water in the Dinghai Pearl was the essence of all Khanate water. It was a Khanate supreme treasure from the beginning of the chaos, and was extremely precious. Ling Xiao had never imagined that someone would actually seal the first yuan heavy water into the Dinghai Pearl. Furthermore, there were a total of 36 drops of first yuan heavy water. Not only can this first yuan heavy water be used to refine Apex Emperor weapons for us, we can also sell it for a sky-high price when we bring it back to the demon realm. The old goat chuckled, looking like a money grubber. This string of Dinghai pearls is also a supreme treasure, comparable to a supreme grade sacred treasure. It is compatible with the Tao of heaven and earth, and can make it easier for one to comprehend the power of Tao, especially the innate water Tao. The reason why Baifeng could become a divine king so quickly must be because of the string of Dinghai pearls. Daoist Wuyang guessed. That's right. Fortunately, this was the Endless Island, a desolate area, a forgotten world. If it was in the demon realm, I'm afraid even monarchs would be tempted by this first yuan heavy water and directly snatch it. Ling Xiao nodded and said, no matter what, this time we came to the demon city, we have a great harvest. We have obtained the dragon vein gold, the immortal sky crystal sand, and the first yuan heavy water, these 3 supreme treasures. It doesn't matter even if we can't get the million demons fruit. Daoist Wuyang chuckled. I can feel that the life force of the million demons ancient tree is extremely strong. I'm afraid the million demons fruit will ripen in 2 days. No matter what, we still have to see what's so special about this legendary myriad's demonic fruit. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as if they could pierce through the void and reach the towering tree in the deepest part of the demon city. Aren't you afraid that the White Dragon King will find trouble with you? He is a genuine heavenly master expert. I'm sure that Baifeng has suffered a lot in your hands. This time he must have gone to the White Dragon King. The reason why the White Dragon King has not made a move is that he is held back by the million demons ancient tree. When he splits out, I'm afraid he will not let it go. Daoist Wuyang laughed. The White Dragon King? Even if he doesn't come to me, I will go to him. There are hundreds of Demon King experts on this endless island. What do you think will happen if I subdue all of them and kill my way back to the divine realm? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. There seemed to be a flame of ambition burning in his eyes. Subdue hundreds of Demon Kings? You are really daring. Daoist Wuyang laughed bitterly. The legendary 4 Grand Demon Kings were not easy to deal with. Let's give it a try. Who knows if we don't try? Ling Xiao said non-committally. Ling Xiao is right. Although these country bumpkins look weak, their bloodlines are very strong. Especially those Demon Clan experts who have cultivated to the Great Sage realm, or even the Saint King realm. They all have ancient bloodlines. As long as they obtain a powerful inheritance, they will immediately have powerful combat strength. Now is the best time to subdue these country bumpkins. As the saying goes, if you don't take what is given to you, you will be punished. Although this idea is crazy, I like it. I'll do it. The old goat chuckled as a crazy look surged in his eyes. Since the 2 of you have said so, what else can I do? As your brother, I can only go crazy with you. Taoist Wuliang laughed bitterly. Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other and laughed. They were very happy. The 10,000 Demons ancient tree was becoming more and more violent. Even the dullest people in Demon City could feel it. Especially in the deepest part of Demon City, there were 4 dazzling lights that shrouded the 10,000 Demons ancient tree. Those were 4 unfathomable auras. They were working together to suppress the 10,000 Demons ancient tree, preventing it from escaping Demon City. The 10,000 Demons fruits on the 10,000 Demons ancient tree had also appeared. 36 10,000 Demons fruits, like 36 dazzling suns, hung on the 10,000 Demons ancient tree and exuded a strange fragrance. The origin energy in the entire Demon City was getting thicker and thicker. It was like a mist that filled the air, making everyone in Demon City feel comfortable. It was as if they had become more intimate with the Great Tao Order. Everyone was waiting for the start of the Demon Conference. The countless weapons and elixirs in the High Heaven Pavilion attracted the attention of many experts. An endless stream of heavenly treasures entered the High Heaven Pavilion. Ling Xiao and Taoist Wuliang were very relaxed. They only needed to refine some lower-grade sacred treasures and elixirs every day, and those crazy experts of the Demon Clan would snatch them up. A large number of heavenly treasures entered the High Heaven Pavilion. The old goat was grinning from ear to ear. Those heavenly treasures included all kinds of strange ores, metals, precious origin energy sacred herbs, spiritual fruits, and so on. Their value was immeasurable. Those were the treasures that had been nurtured on the Endless Island for hundreds of millions of years. They were originally the demon kings of the 72 caves, and the various demon saints. Now that the Demon Conference was about to begin, they were crazily exchanging all kinds of weapons and elixirs. Almost all the experts of the Demon Clan went crazy for the 10,000 Demons fruit. Chapter 2643. Rumble. At the center of Demon City, the 10,000 Demons ancient tree suddenly emitted a blazing divine light. It shot up into the sky like a heavenly pillar, instantly dispersing the clouds in the sky and connecting with the heavens and earth. The mysterious light was dense, and the mist was ethereal. It was as if an ancient and mysterious world had been formed. Powerful ferocious beasts roared in the sky. True dragons traversed the void. Phoenixes burned the earth. Countless powerful divine beasts were fighting fiercely, making people feel as if they had come to an ancient desolate world. 36 bright suns floated above the 10,000 Demons ancient tree. In an instant, they bloomed with endless light, covering the Real sun in the sky. A strange fragrance permeated the air, enveloping the entire Demon City. Everyone felt extremely comfortable, and their eyes were filled with intoxication. The 10,000 Demons fruit had ripened. Everyone had the same thought in their minds, and their eyes were filled with excitement. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. One by one, powerful figures took to the sky and headed toward the central area of the Demon City, where the 10,000 Demons ancient tree was located. The area around the 10,000 Demons ancient tree was originally a forbidden area, but it was sealed off by the 4 Grand Demon Kings with a powerful barrier. At this moment, because the 10,000 Demons fruit had ripened, the forbidden area was lifted. Everyone was extremely excited and came to this legendary area. The 10,000 Demons fruit has finally ripened? Inside High Heaven Pavilion, Ling Xiao, the old goat, Long Outyin, and the 3 Golden Lion King brothers all had shocked expressions on their faces. The 10,000 Demons fruit has ripened, and the Demon Conference is about to begin. Legend has it that after the 10,000 Demons fruit ripened, the 10,000 Demons ancient tree will form a strange small world, and the Demon Conference will be held in that small world. Let's go. The Golden Lion King's eyes flashed, revealing a dazzling light. Let's go. Ling Xiao, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other. Without any hesitation, they leaped up and left the Ling Xiao Pavilion, flying towards the 10,000 Demons ancient tree. The entire Demon City was in an uproar. Numerous powerful figures covered the sky and the earth. They were incomparably excited and wanted to participate in this grand event. The myriad demon meet was only held once every million years. Although there were only 36 10,000 fiend fruits and the competition was extremely intense, those who participated in the myriad fiend meet would still benefit greatly even if they could not obtain the 10,000 fiend fruit. Many demon clan experts who were stuck at a bottleneck, and even some who were about to die, rushed toward the 10,000 demons' ancient tree. Even though the 4 Grand Demon Kings had set the rule that only those whose cultivation had reached the sage stage were qualified to participate in the myriad demon meet, the Grand Demon Kings were not qualified to participate. However, when Ling Xiao took a closer look, he realized that there were more than tens of thousands of demon race experts participating in the 1,000 demon meet. Perhaps all the demonic saints on the Endless Island had come. This was the true myriad demon meet. Ling Xiao and the others soon arrived at the core area of the demon city. Is this the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he felt a desolate, ancient, and vast aura rush towards him. The 10,000 fiends' ancient tree was rooted in the ground, and its trunk was like a heavenly pillar. It was extremely thick, and its bark was mottled and ancient. At that moment, it was emitting a sparkling light, and contained a majestic aura of life. The branches and leaves of the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree were extremely dense, and its towering canopy covered the sky and the sun. It pierced into the depths of the firmament, making one feel small and insignificant. Ling Xiao could vaguely see a blazing divine light rising above the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree. It vaguely seemed to form a mysterious space vortex that led to a mysterious small world. The 36 10,000 fiend fruits on the 10,000 fiend ancient tree were sparkling and translucent. They were as dazzling as the sun, and they emitted a rich fragrance. The surrounding demon clan experts all looked extremely intoxicated. Rumble. At that moment, 4 extremely terrifying auras appeared above the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree. They emitted waves that caused the heavens and earth to tremble. They were unfathomable, as though they were heavenly sovereigns who controlled the life and death of all living beings. Everyone could not help but raise their heads. It's the 4 Grand Demon Kings have arrived. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with awe. 4 mysterious figures floated above the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree. There were 3 men and 1 woman. They were the 4 Grand Demon Kings who controlled the Endless Island. They were also 4 heavenly sovereign experts. They were King Pine Cypress, King Peony, King Willow, and King White Dragon. King Pine Cypress was an old man with a ruddy complexion and white hair. He held a pine cane in his hand. His body was hunched, and there was a faint smile on his face. He looked very easygoing, but his eyes emitted an ancient and wise light. King Peony was a very beautiful woman in a palace dress. Her skin was as white as jade, and her black hair was like a waterfall. Her face looked flawless, and her body was curvy. There was not a single flaw on her body. She exuded a myriad of charm and had a peerless temperament. On the other hand, Lord Lu was a very handsome young man. He had an extraordinary temperament, like an emperor descending to the mortal world. His perfect and beautiful face would make any woman jealous. The last one was King White Dragon. He was a tall old man with white hair and beard. He looked majestic and domineering. He exuded a powerful dragon aura. His every move had the majesty of a king. The divine light in his eyes was so bright that no one dared to look at him directly. Greetings, King Pine Cypress. Greetings, King Peony. Greetings, King Willow. Greetings, King White Dragon. After the 4 Grand Demon Kings appeared, the demon experts around the 10,000 fiends' ancient tree bowed in unison. Their voices shook the void like thunder, and their eyes were filled with fanaticism and awe. The 4 Grand Demon Kings were the uncrowned kings of the Endless Island. They were the absolute masters. No one dared to challenge the majesty of the Grand Demon Kings, not even the Demon Kings of the 72 Caves. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. King Pine Cypress smiled faintly. His voice was old and gentle, making people feel comfortable, as if a spring breeze was caressing their faces. King Pine Cypress was said to be the oldest of the 4 Grand Demon Kings. He was already a Grand Demon King before the other 3 had broken through to the Demon King realm. His cultivation was unfathomable, and no one knew how strong he was. Therefore, if the 4 Grand Demon Kings were to be ranked, King Pine Cypress would undoubtedly be ranked first. Even the unruly White Dragon King had no choice but to concede. I'm sure everyone already knows. The Myriad Fiends fruit has ripened, and the Myriad Fiends conference has officially begun. The Myriad Fiends fruit looks like it's on the 10,000 Fiends ancient tree, but in fact it flew into the Myriad Fiends realm the moment it ripened. The Myriad Fiends realm will be open for 3 days. Everyone will enter the Myriad Fiends realm and rely on their own ability and luck to find the 36 Myriad Fiends fruits. After 3 days, the Myriad Fiends realm will be closed, and everyone will have to leave the Myriad Fiends realm. There are other treasures in the Myriad Fiends realm other than the Myriad Fiends fruit. Whether you can get them or not depends on your luck. King Pine Cypress smiled faintly and explained the rules of the Myriad Fiends conference. Chapter 2644. In fact, the Myriad Demons Conference was a grand event to enter the Myriad Demons realm to fight for the Myriad Demons fruit. It was also a great opportunity for all the experts of the Demon Clan. Most of the experts of the Demon Clan knew about these rules in advance. Is the Myriad Demons realm really a small world created by the Myriad Demons ancient tree? If the Myriad Demons ancient tree can create a small world, does that mean it can transform as well? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Although he had heard about the Myriad Demons realm from the Golden Lion King and the others, he was still a little confused when he saw the mysterious small world in front of him. Isn't that so? I heard that the 10,000 Fey ancient tree could have transformed long ago. It's just that the 4 great Fey monarchs have been preventing it from transforming. Therefore, every time the 10,000 Fey fruit ripens, the 4 great Fey monarchs would join forces to suppress the 10,000 Fey ancient tree. In fact, it's also to prevent the Myriad Demons ancient tree from transforming. The Golden Lion King whispered to Ling Xiao. Prevent the Myriad Demons ancient tree from transforming? Just to let the Myriad Demons ancient tree bear these 36 Myriad Demons fruits after 1,000,000 years? The Myriad Demons fruits should be useless to the 4 Grand Monster Kings, right? What's their purpose in doing so? Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. I don't know. These are just rumors. Who knows what the actual situation is? Perhaps the 4 great demon monarchs are really seeking opportunities for all of us. The Golden Lion King's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Maybe. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He felt that there was something fishy going on. Whoosh. 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 As soon as King Pine and Bai finished speaking, the 4 Grand Monster Kings directly opened the void passage to the Myriad Demons realm. Suddenly, many experts of the Demon Clan could not help but jump up and fly into the Myriad Demons realm. The terrifying aura of tens of thousands of demon overlords was enough to shatter the heavens and the earth. It was like a mighty torrent that flew into the Myriad Demons realm. Everyone was scrambling to be the first to enter the 10,000 demon realm. After all, there were only 36 10,000 demonic fruits. With so many people wanting to obtain the 10,000 demonic fruits, the competition would be extremely intense. Moreover, it was inevitable that there would be large-scale casualties. Not only could the 10,000 demons fruit allow great sage experts to become Saint Kings, it was also quite useful for Saint Kings. Therefore, those demon kings also wanted to obtain the 10,000 demons fruit. Although Ling Xiao had doubts in his heart, he did not intend to be in the limelight. He still followed the crowd and flew towards the demon realm. Ling Xiao frowned as he felt a cold gaze filled with killing intent land on him. Ling Xiao turned around and realized that the owner of that gaze was actually the White Dragon King. The White Dragon King's expression was indifferent. He looked deeply at Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with undisguised killing intent. However, for some reason he held back and did not attack. White Dragon King. Interesting. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His gaze was extremely calm, without the slightest hint of fear. When his gaze collided with the White Dragon King's, it seemed as though sparks were flying. But soon, Ling Xiao entered the 10,000 demon realm and disappeared without a trace. White Dragon King, that kid just now killed your brother, defeated the Baji King, and made your son suffer. He's only in the Great Sage realm, but he has such combat strength. No wonder he's from the continent of the demon realm. Willow Monarch's eyes revealed a hint of curiosity as he smiled faintly. So what if he's from the continent of the demon realm? He's just an ant. I can kill him with a flip of my hand. But the most important thing now is the demon treasure. The demon realm will only be open for 3 days. This time, I must enter the demon treasure and become the true lord of demons. The White Dragon King snorted coldly, his eyes filled with sharpness. Lord of demons? Just you? The peony monarch sneered with a hint of mockery in her eyes. What? Peony monarch, are you not convinced? When I become the lord of demons, you will be the demon queen, the White Dragon King said arrogantly. White Dragon King, if I become the lord of demons, I will kill you first. The peony monarch did not hide the murderous intent in her eyes. Both of you stop fighting. Didn't we painstakingly seal the 10,000 demons ancient tree for the demon treasure? Whether we can enter the demon treasure and become the lord of demons or not, we will rely on our own abilities. Don't hurt our friendship. King Pine Cypress persuaded with a look of a good old man. That's right. Let's rely on our own abilities, but only I can become the lord of demons. The White Dragon King sneered. Suddenly, he took a step forward and disappeared into the void. Arrogant. The peony monarch's face was livid, and her eyes were filled with anger. Cough cough, peony monarch. Why don't we work together and kill the White Dragon King first? Willow Monarch coughed softly and smiled. Willow Monarch, if the White Dragon King is a villain, then you are a hypocrite. If I work with you, I'm really afraid that you will betray me one day. The peony monarch sneered. Then, without even looking at King Pine Cypress and Willow Monarch, she also disappeared into the void with a flash of light. Senior King Pine Cypress. Why don't we work together? Willow Monarch's eyes turned, and he smiled at King Pine Cypress. Forget about it. My old bones still want to live for a few more years. Willow King, you'd better stop trying to be naughty. Otherwise, if it's like last time where no one can enter the 10,000 demons secret treasure, the Peony King and the White Dragon King will definitely come after you. King Pine Cypress laughed bitterly, then shook his head and disappeared into the void. Hey, you don't want to work with me, and you still want to enter the demon treasure? But the little guy in the demon realm continent looks good. Maybe I can work with him. Willow Monarch said to himself, and a sly smile appeared on his perfect face. He took a step forward and also disappeared into the void. Is this the demon realm? Ling Xiao looked at the endless mountain range in front of him. It was ancient and mysterious, and he said helplessly. He did not know if it was to prevent many demon clan experts from killing each other, but the void passage of the demon realm was also randomly teleported. After Ling Xiao entered the passage, he quickly found that the old goat and Taoist Wuliang had disappeared, and he was the only one who appeared here. That mountain is so tall? That's not right. That's not a mountain, that's the demon ancient tree? Ling Xiao suddenly exclaimed in surprise. He saw that in the center of the distant world, there was an ancient mountain. It was millions of feet tall, connected the heavens and the earth, and exuded a majestic and ancient aura. He had some doubts at first, but he soon saw clearly that it was not a mountain, but a towering ancient tree. It seemed to be holding up this world, exuding a majestic and vast aura. There was actually a demon ancient tree in the demon realm. Chapter 2645. The gigantic 10,000 Fei ancient tree sat in the middle of the world, exuding a vast and terrifying aura. It was hundreds of millions of miles tall, as if it was connected to the heavens and the earth. It was like the world tree from ancient times, causing everyone's heart to tremble. This 10,000 Fei ancient tree was thousands of times bigger than the one outside the 10,000 Fei ancient tree. Could it be this is the true body of the 10,000 Fei ancient tree? Ling Xiao was shocked. Rumble. At this moment, the 36 sun-like 10,000 Fei fruits hanging on the 10,000 Fei ancient tree trembled violently. They then turned into streams of light and fell off the 10,000 Fei ancient tree, flying in all directions. The 10,000 Fei fruit shone brightly, and its fragrance spread, causing the world to seem to be filled with a layer of mysterious energy. Swoosh. 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 At the same time, Ling Xiao also noticed that there were dozens of figures in the vast mountain range around him, flying rapidly in the direction where the 10,000 fey fruits had disappeared. It turned out that those demon saints and demon kings had hidden themselves after entering the 10,000 fey realm, waiting for an opportunity to seize the opportunity. I'd like to see what secrets this 10,000 fey ancient tree has. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and in an instant he leaped up and flew in the direction of the 10,000 fey ancient tree. The 10,000 fey fruit seemed to have a mind of its own. After leaving the 10,000 fey ancient tree, it shot in all directions, and soon all its aura disappeared completely. It was not easy to find the 10,000 fey fruit. Ling Xiao was not very interested in the 10,000 fey fruit. With his current cultivation, he did not need to rely on external forces to break through to the Saint King realm. He only needed to wait for his holy path source route to comprehend the 3,000 great paths, and he could naturally break through to the Saint King realm. Although the 10,000 fey fruit was good, it was only a top-grade sacred medicine. Ling Xiao always felt that the 10,000 fey ancient tree seemed to be hiding some secrets, so he planned to go to the central area to see the huge 10,000 fey ancient tree. Rumble! Ling Xiao flew towards the 10,000 fey ancient tree, and along the way, he saw many demon saints fighting fiercely. The 10,000 demon realm had been sealed for millions of years. During these millions of years, the 10,000 demon realm had nurtured countless treasures of heaven and earth. All kinds of origin sacred herbs were irresistible to those demon overlords. However, there were tens of thousands of demon overlords entering the 10,000 demon realm this time. Therefore, it was common for them to fight each other for opportunities. Ling Xiao did not take part in their battle. The sacred origin medicines were not very attractive to Ling Xiao. However, he did come across some precious heavenly resources along the way, so Ling Xiao collected them along the way. Ling Xiao's speed was not fast. He rode on the clouds and crossed over many mountains. He was getting closer and closer to the 10,000 fey ancient tree in the central region. Whoosh! However, at this moment, a resplendent streak of golden light flew over from the distance. It was extremely fast, and it possessed a strange spirituality as it headed straight for the clouds. Ling Xiao casually reached out and caught the golden light in his palm. This is the 10,000 demon fruit? There was a strange look in Ling Xiao's eyes. The golden light in his palm was a golden fruit the size of a fist. Within it, there seemed to be a golden dragon that was faintly discernible. It looked translucent and had a fragrant aroma. It jumped slightly in Ling Xiao's palm, as if it wanted to escape from his control. Ling Xiao was almost instantly sure that the golden fruit was the 10,000 demon fruit. It was not only because of the vast energy contained in the golden fruit, but more importantly, the aura that the golden fruit exuded was of the same origin as the 10,000 fey ancient tree. However, the 10,000 demon fruit that others had been fighting for so long had not been found. Yet it had come to Ling Xiao by itself. His luck was really out of this world. However, Ling Xiao soon found that he was surrounded by a group of demon overlords. The leader was a demon king. Kid, hand over the 10,000 demon fruit. It was a demon king with a bull's head and a human body. He wore animal skin and was muscular all over. He was full of explosive power, and his eyes were full of greed and fervor. Although the surrounding demon overlords were a little afraid of the demon king with a bull's head, the attraction of the 10,000 demon fruit forced them to suppress their inner fear and surround Ling Xiao. In particular, there were a few demon clan experts in the Great Saint realm. Their eyes were full of excitement. If they could get the 10,000 demon fruit, they could immediately break through to the Saint King realm and become a powerful demon king. You don't know me? Ling Xiao looked at the bull-headed demon king in front of him with a strange look in his eyes. Know you? You're just a great saint. What qualifications do you have for me to know you? Quickly hand over the 10,000 demon fruit to me, or I'll kill you. The demon king with a bull's eyes glared fiercely as he sneered. Even the 8-pole king was defeated by me. You don't know me? It seems that my reputation is still not big enough. Ling Xiao sighed softly, and a teasing look appeared in his eyes. What? The surrounding demon overlords could not help but change their expressions, and a look of suspicion appeared in their eyes. Although they did not see the battle between Ling Xiao and the 8-pole king with their own eyes, they heard that the 8-pole king was defeated by a great saint. Could it be this person in front of them? Seeing Ling Zhao's indifferent and calm look, the demon overlords could not help but believe it, and they all had the intention to retreat. If it was really the ruthless person who defeated the Eight-Pole King, they were really courting death. Defeated the Eight-Pole King? Ha 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 ha. You. The Eight-Pole King is the person I admire the most. Although he is only ranked third among the demon kings of the 72 caves, his real combat strength is undeniably the best. The Eight-Pole King is my big brother. How dare you slander my big brother? I think you're tired of living. The demon king with a bull's head was taken aback, and then he burst into laughter, his eyes full of mockery. The demon overlords looked at the demon king with a trace of pity in their eyes. This guy probably came to the demon city on the last day, right? Otherwise, how could he not have heard the news of the Eight-Pole King being defeated? However, the demon overlords did not intend to remind the demon king of this. Instead, they planned to let the demon king take the lead. If this young man was really the person who defeated the Eight-Pole King, then needless to say, they just had to run for their lives. If this young man was bluffing, they could also wait for an opportunity to take action. Maybe they could find an opportunity to snatch the 10,000 demon fruit. Genius memorized this site's address in 1 second. Mobile version of reading website. You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.